Here, district.
District Treasurer,
I'll get this one.
Supervisor Alvarez,
I think I'm here.
Chair, Supervisor Annapolis, Supervisor Miller, District Engineer,
Here.
District Manager,
Here.
all present at account for except for C3, Bruno Navarro.
Also, just landowner meeting, I'm bad about it. We have an interpreter, so if you can help us out as well. Need a seat there? Here, you can take this mic. I talk pretty good without a mic. I don't even know how to turn it on. I was born in the 70s. I don't know how that technology works. So as we're talking, just remember we have an interpreter.
Testing.
Does anybody need any help in Spanish by any chance?
¿Hay alguien en la sala que necesite los servicios del intérprete? Alce la mano, por favor.
All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you. Why don't we stand for the pledge of allegiance? The flag is right behind us. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Amen.
There is no air. This is a beautiful.
And we don't need air conditioning.
No ma'am. This is how they did it back in the day. No, that's what I'm turning around. Can't hear
Just one back there, baby.
Attorney, we have here on 1C, proof of publication.
Yes, so Becky, by law, we have to, this has to be published once a week for 2 weeks, and the last publication has to be not less than 10 or more days before the meeting. So Becky, if you could just confirm that.
Yes, it was published through the Clues newspaper, Clues About, through Independent News.
Okay, thank you. Number 2, approval of meeting agenda. We have a motion on the floor. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Approval of meeting agenda passes. Third, we'll go to our annual report. This one's going to be first off from our district engineer. He's going to give us our annual work performed.
Mr. Chairman, just very quickly, so pursuant to Chapter 198 of the Florida statutes, the board must report, this is landowners' meeting, this is your meeting. And so it's very important that we receive input from you on what the priorities are for the water control district in the coming year. So one of the things is, under the statute, the board must report to the landowners, all of you, what work has been done, and get what's called an annual work update by the district engineer. Following that presentation, the treasurer will make a report of the audit of the water control district's financial activities in the prior year, and that will also be a presentation to you as the landowners. Following that, if our CPA has completed her tallying of the ballots, we will announce the winner, and I will swear in the winner of the seat. Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, the floor is yours.
I'll try this without a microphone. Can everybody hear me? Okay. This is the annual report covering the fiscal year 2019-2020. As you know, the district's responsibility has 3 things: water control, roads, and 158, covering the water control, district water control activities covered by the South Florida Water Management District permit. We are in compliance with our
There's the mic is there.
Yeah, use the mic.
Use the mic.
I need to lose some toxins, so I know if I can lose some, you guys can lose some. If not, we're gonna vote for AC. And hopefully next year, this park that you're sitting in will finally have AC.
Amen.
Thank you. We're finally gonna have AC in there. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll try it with this. The district drainage plan is accomplished by 12 canals that flow from west to east. The water is collected in a master canal that's on the west side of the reservoir, and it's pumped into the reservoir by 11 pumps. We're permitted for 12 pumps. We have submitted a grant application through the Department of Economic Opportunity. We don't know if that's been awarded yet. We will be meeting with them next Wednesday to go over the application and review it. If it's approved, there's money in there for the construction of the 12th pump station. We also are part of the C-139 basin, which is created by the South Florida Water Management District, and it's a basin that monitors the phosphorus discharges that go into the Everglades. All of our water actually is discharged into the Everglades. We are in compliance with that permit. We renewed it last January, and it's up for renewal now. We're working on that permit application. The reservoir actually serves three purposes. One is flood protection by storage of excess flood water. It creates water quality by detention of the flood water and the settling out of any pollutants. And then we also have passive recreation in the reservoir. We have a dike that surrounds the 4 square mile reservoir. It's completed now and certified by the Water Management District. And with the completion of that reservoir, it allows us to store more water than we were able to before. We maintain the levee by mowing and herbiciding. As I mentioned before, we have the 11 pumps. There's several of those that are the original pumps that were built when the Montero was first developed. Some of the older ones are in poor condition. The grant that I mentioned before, if it's awarded, will actually rehab those old pumps and bring them up to new condition, including new pumps, new power units, trash racks, that type of thing. There's 2 outfall structures from the reservoir. One is at the southeast corner, and one is just east of the pump station 9 and 10. Both are in good condition. The canals that I mentioned that run from west to east, we've had them mechanically cleaned several years ago. They get treated with herbicides every year, I believe twice a year, and we've got an ongoing contract for that. Each of the roads that cross those canals have culverts under them, and some of those are in pretty bad shape. We've replaced several failed during Hurricane Irma, and we've got a culvert inventory that showed several of them that still need to be replaced. Again, that grant application we've got into the state would have money in it to replace the remaining culverts that need to be replaced under the roads. Are roadside swales that convey the water from the roadsides into the canals haven't been regraded in a good while. We also discovered last year that the culverts that convey the roadside swale water into the east-west canals, or practically all of them, are failing. They've rusted out over the years. The bottoms of them have rusted out. We've replaced several of them with the Central County forces, but it's a massive job. There was 350 of them roughly to be replaced. A grant application that we've got in would have money in it for replacing all those culverts. We haven't been reconstructing any swales, but we now have, and I don't have that in my report, but we have now purchased a piece of laser equipment to attach to our excavator that would facilitate us being able to regrade some of those swales much easier with the Central County equipment. So we should be starting some of that this year. Our roadways, we maintain 37 miles of paved roads. They've gotten in pretty bad shape over the years. We've several years ago started a resurfacing program. We'll talk about that a little more later. There's 2 miles of lime rock roads and 95 miles of graded roads. We worked on rebuilding the lime rock roads, adding lime rock to them to make them stronger, and also to raise the level of them, because they've, over the years, have gotten beaten out with the traffic. We resurfaced Hacienda from Del Sur to Hunting Club this past year, and Appaloosa from Quebrada to Cabbage Farm. And we budgeted money for another resurfacing project for the upcoming fiscal year. And I'll go ahead and report that now, Mr. Mata, but we've prioritized Hunting Club from 833 to Hacienda, and Montura from Cabbage Palm west 1 mile. Those are the two.
Say that the second part.
From Montura, from Cabbage Palm where it ends, back west for 1 mile. Those are the two worst sections.
So it's going to move from Cabbage Palm to...
Back to the west for 1 mile. I can't remember the exact
Stop
one.
at Quebrada or Mayorat, somewhere in there?
Yeah, Quebrada, I think, yeah. Yes, it is. It is Quebrada.
So that's for this fiscal year. Okay, on Monterey. All right, so it's Hunting Club, so Hacienda, overlaying Monterey Avenue from Cabbage Palm, probably to Quebrada. That would be 2 miles.
2 miles.
Okay, thank you.
We also, along with the road maintenance, our traffic regulation and law enforcement, we don't take care of that. Henry County Sheriff's Office does. We do take care of street signs. That's been an issue. The street signs, street name signs, speed limit signs, safety signs, all of those are the district's responsibility to replace. We've got a lot of vandalism. Herminio tells me that he puts new signs up and a week later that somebody's already shot holes in them or taken them down or ran over them. So that's an ongoing expense. We issue driveway permits for new construction. We've had an extreme number of driveways. Monterey is growing, as everybody knows. We have a fleet of heavy equipment. We've been updating that, and there's an inventory of that equipment available at the district office. We also maintain buildings, which is the clubhouse is one of the main ones, and the office and shop on Cabbage Palm. And we also have the playgrounds and ball fields here. And there's recreational activities in the reservoir. And we recently found an issue with the pool here at the clubhouse area, and we're investigating ways to repair that. So we continue to make improvements to the facilities with our resurfacing and regrading and replacing culverts. So with that, I recommend that the governing board continue to its maintenance, its assessment for this coming year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any board members have a question for Mr. Bennett? Go ahead.
Mr. Bennett, as most of you know, I like to walk in the woods. And I noticed in the canals, this film of oil flowing to the reservoir. Can we get some filters, those filters that absorb the oil and let the water go by, so we don't pollute our reservoir? I don't know where the oil is coming from. I just want to stop it.
Yeah, we can look into that. I didn't know that. So, yeah, there's some floating barriers, I think, that you can look into, put something in there to absorb that, or keep it from moving, yeah.
There's more and more every day. So whatever is leaking.
Is it any particular canal that you're noticing it in, or all of it? Is it any particular canal or all of them?
Well, it depends on the flow. When the medium cracks out the pumps, depending on the flow of the water, that's where you see it the most. So I think all of them, before they get to the reservoir, should have that filters installed.
Okay.
To prevent the reservoir from getting contaminated.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I would like to know if there are any plans for this year to have a new road paved.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Are we getting any new roads paved according to the plan?
I hear, but I don't understand.
New roads.
New roads paved.
No, we didn't have any plans for new roads in this budget. It was just resurfacing the old ones. We're trying to catch up the ones that are deteriorating, and we're about to lose some of them because of they haven't been maintained in so long. But we're beginning to catch up on that a little bit. So it may be that very soon we can look at beginning to repave some of these, or build some of these that are
Build a new
on
road.
roads now.
That's what I'm talking about.
There's two north-south roads that aren't paved, Datum and Kendall, I believe.
As well as perimeter.
Yeah, and Perimeter Road as well. So
As well as Appaloosa doesn't go all the way down, Ball Cypress
That's right.
doesn't go all the way down, Horse.
Hacienda doesn't go all the way either. There's another piece of that.
You're absolutely correct.
So maybe by the middle of the year, you'll be able to assess if we'll be able to do that. Otherwise, can we add that to that grant money that you were talking about?
This particular grant doesn't cover any kind of road work. It was all drainage related, but there may be some other grants that would do that.
Mr. Bennett, just to piggyback on Ms. Miller's statement, how much would it cost if we did pave a road? What estimate of a fee are we looking at? Like just say, for instance, if we did, please don't put it on Facebook, guys, that we're doing this, right? So, as Louis said, for the record, if we happen to do a road, it's a mile long, just say the road's a mile long, what typical price are we looking at as we speak? Rough estimate, we're not gonna hold you to it.
Yeah, because there's so many variables, because you don't know what the condition of the existing road is, whether
Yes,
we're
sir.
going to add a lot of base, or whether there's drainage work to do.
Yes, sir.
It could be, and without curb and gutter and everything, you're probably looking at $750,000 a mile, $500,000 a mile, something like that.
Okay. On the hunting club that you're proposing, from hunting club to Hacienda, as well as Montero Avenue from Cabbage Pond to Quebrada, if approved by the board, when do we see that happen?
What we were planning on doing was trying to piggyback on the county contract again.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly when they're going to do it, but my thoughts are we would be prepared to have everything, our work done, so that whenever the county bid that, we would be able to get right on it and do that. So I think it was late spring.
Late spring?
Something like that, April or May.
hold on. No questions right now. Hold on one second, please.
I believe it
We'll
would
have
make
time for
everyone
them in
mad.
the audience in a minute. Okay. All right, thank you. Any board member, any other questions for Mr. Bennett? All right, thank you, Mr. Bennett. Next, we'll have questions here, it'll be at the end though. Just bear with us. Mr. Boyd, we're going to give you a presentation of our annual audit. This is coming from our district accountant. You have the floor, you need a mic, Mr. Boyd?
It's on.
You can have it.
I turned it off.
Oh, you did.
It's on the bottom.
Can you hear me? Okay, during the year, ending September 30, 2019, last year, we had our CPA firm, Tustin & Company, they're our auditors, that came in and audited the financial statements and gave us an opinion as of April 27th of 2020. And that opinion was that the statements are fairly stated, and it's what we call a clean opinion. There was no management letter comments at all. The bottom line was we started the year with a fund balance of $3,291,000 approximately. We spent in excess of $366,000, and we have $2,924,722 left at the end of 2019 to go forward with. So that's the results of the audit.
Go ahead.
Well, if there's any questions, go ahead.
Any questions for Mr. Boyd? Benny?
I got one thing to throw in that's quick. You said to do it now. We had a $1,500,000 plus CD at Center State that came due this month, so we need to reinvest that money. I surveyed all the local banks. The highest one is Center State, again at 12 months at 0.4%. Seacoast was 0.35%. And First Bank didn't want any more public money because they have to pledge money in certain things, so they just weren't interested. So Center State also offered 18 months at 0.5%. So I'm going to recommend that we go with the Center State 18 months because we've still got, like $1.1 million in money market accounts that we can take out immediately. And I don't think the interest rates are going to go up in the next year from what anybody says.
Yes, sir.
So I would recommend that we approve purchasing a $1.7 million CD at Center State Bank with 18-month maturity at 0.5%.
Anybody have a question, or can we get a motion on the floor?
I hereby make a motion to accept the proposal from the county to use the money for hiring.
We have a motion on the floor, we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, that's all from our report.
Any questions from Mr. Boyd? Can you get to the next meeting? On our landowners, after the landowners? No questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Boyd. I don't think we're ready for that, but go ahead.
No, it's to say if you want to take public comment.
Yes, we'll do the public comment. If you could, if you want us to stand up, if you want to speak, why don't you stand? Your name, your address, and
Yes, my name is Caridad Colon. I live at 1415 South Kennel Street.
okay.
I'm bringing a petition of 6 of us where I live. There's actually 12 people living in that little piece of block.
Okay.
I was only able to get from 12 people the signature that we're tired of complaining about a road.
Okay.
I even have pictures, and this was a month and a half ago,
Yep.
that they don't fix it. And for the past 4 years, they've been telling me they're gonna fix it.
Okay.
They're gonna fix it, and they're gonna fix it. They pass the machine once every in a blue moon. And a blue moon, I mean once a year.
Okay.
And then It's ridiculous how it is. My car is, you can't go through it, not even if you push it.
Understood.
If you push the car, you can't even go through it. That's how bad it is. So I'm bringing this up to the board, so I won't complain. I mean, so they won't tell me 6 months from now, I didn't say nothing about it. It's my proof.
Okay,
So we're gonna get to.
you can pass it right here. But
And this picture is a month and a half old, so there's more holes now added to it.
Okay. And we'll speak about the roads at our next meeting as well. Appreciate you bringing it up to our attention. Not going to make any excuses for Central County because the buck stops here. But as you well know, thank you. As everybody well knows, we'll say this nicely. We're torn between a community. Some want to keep it rural, some want progress. So that's going to be hard to balance our community. I wish we had the funding to take care of not just your street. We have another issue off Dado. I've had an accident that was reported on Montura and some other, so we do know about it. Unfortunately, our budget can only go so far. I'm being honest with you. So as a community, I'm just letting you know, we're putting out a lot of fires. We really are. We're trying, but I think Herminio last fiscal year ran out of money, funding for roads.
We did, 2018, we did $267,000 on road field.
And the year before that was what? Well,
And on the past year, we did, I'm sorry, 2018, we did 306,000. And the past year, we did 276.
Well, I don't know what, but only mine's.
No,
Mine's is sand, completely sand.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what sand is?
There's a lot of it like that.
Yeah, but there's 12 of us, 12 families. So let's say one car and everybody has 2, 3 cars. One car per family is 12 people every day in and out, in and out. And it's so horrible that you can't even push their car. You can't push the car, that's how bad it is.
I know exactly how every road is, and I apologize for that. We do go through every road, especially Cannon and Dale. Every 2.5 months, that's when.
No, that's not so. Those pictures are a year and a half, 1 month and a half old. And that was even 2 months prior to that.
Right, so you
So you're talking
understand,
about 4 months, so you just lied right there about, at least my block. At least my block, no. Once a year you guys do it, not once every 2 months, don't lie. Because I'm sitting right here. I live there day in, day out, I don't go nowhere. I live with my mom locked in my trailer and do my little thing, cut the grass and then not that I party and I come back a month afterwards, no.
Listen,
Every day.
hold on 1 second. We can have a conversation, you can have.
But let's talk the truth.
Hold on 1 second, please. So let's act like what we're supposed to. We can have a conversation, we can disagree. Again, that's why some of the reason most of it here are on this board, to make a difference and to improve our roads. As Mr. Bennett spoke so well, we're in charge of 3 different things. Roads, the swales, recreation, and we need help. If you look at the data, and I'm going to be honest, you look at the data, and the many moons that have passed, the roads were neglected for a long time. There was not a lot of money spent on field.
Well, for the past 4 years that I lived there.
And if you look in the last 15 years, if you look at the data, people, there's not been a lot of money spent on field. We are having to pay now. I'm not going to make any excuses. The buck does stop with me. I'm the chair. So we are going to move forward. We're going to address it, just like we have to address all these other issues. When it's going to happen, I'm not sure. We're in rainy season. These are some bad ruts. I've seen some other ones as well. We have other areas, just like Dado.
Worse than that right now.
I understand we can, but there's only so much we can do. We have to prioritize what we do first. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is.
More priority than that?
Yes, ma'am.
There's roads with many more
Yes,
people
ma'am.
living
So
on
there's
it.
more people living in the road, like.
Yes, ma'am. I have a family that actually made a new road. There's the road down the center, and then there's a road down the swell. And so, you know, for that to happen, that's been a while. So we will address it. And here's the other thing, so everybody will know. John, can you explain how the chain of command works, this, that, and the other, so our landowners, as well as our board, understand how this works?
You say chain of command?
Yes, sir. Like for instance, oh, I'll bring you an example. Juan Mata is not the day-to-day guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the manager works for the board. No one board member can tell the manager what the priorities are. The only priorities that can be set for Central County is by the board as a whole, if that's what you're...
Yes, sir.
referring to. And so one thing we've talked about in the past, if I may, can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You've got a big mouth, so you're right. The roads, and I've only been here for a few years, but I've driven every time I come, I drive around. It is unbelievable, some of the roads, how bad they are. I haven't seen those pictures, but I believe they're very bad. I can tell you in talking to the engineer that this is 30 years of outright neglect. That's number one. Number two, what we discovered was a long time ago, they used to go in and grade the roads in a way that over time, a road's supposed to have a crown.
A crown in the middle.
Like this. They were grading the roads in the middle, so over time, what happened? The road turns into like a swale. It's the exact thing you don't want to do. And so over time, that's accelerated the rate at which the roads are degrading. I think we have, is it 90 miles of road? How many? Over 100 miles of roads. We looked at it a couple of years ago, and it was $15 to $20 million, because this is what needs to be done. Right now, they're putting Band-Aids on a knife wound. Band-Aids aren't going to work. You can come out there every other month and patch and patch and patch. It's a losing proposition, and that's what we're seeing now. And if I'm wrong, please correct me, but I want this to be very clear. The patching is a Band-Aid. I'm being polite. It's a Band-Aid when someone ripped it open with a knife. The way to fix that is to really rebuild these roads with high-grade line bar. The cost of rebuilding those roads, we looked at it a couple of years ago, it was $18 million. And so it has to be done. What I think we need is a plan that looks at all the roads. Whenever you do anything, you got to have a plan. You have a plan that identifies, let's say, the top 10 stretches of road that are in the worst condition. And what's that old saying about how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. This is the exact same scenario here. This district has to have a plan. And every year, we need to start chipping away at the road problem. Because I can tell you, and I've been involved with water management and drainage issues for over 30 years. I'm not an engineer, but I know a lot about drainage. You can have a guy come out and patch your road every 30 days. And in the end, it's going to do nothing. Because every time you have a serious rain event, it's going to blow it out because you don't have a crown anymore. You have a V. And until we fix that V and recreate a crown, it's not going to work. The budget for taking fill out to the roads is triple what it was 4 or 5 years ago. Triple. And it's still not having a big dent.
We haven't put a dent in it.
That's the problem. It's not, and as Mata said, it's not an excuse. It's unacceptable. People live, and God forbid if something happened, you need to get in and out of your house. It's unacceptable. And we've been lucky this year. We haven't had any real blowout rain events. If we did, it would be intensely worse than it is today. We got lucky this year. And so that needs to be a priority. And I know this board has been talking about it. This board has done more in 2 years than for what I can tell in the previous 20 years. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Still not enough.
But let me tell you, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, these people they get paid a lot of money to do what they're doing. They get nothing. But they give their time and they're trying. Believe me, I know it doesn't give you any comfort because you live in a place that's just not acceptable, but I can tell you, these people, they're trying with, you know, we got this much of a budget and this many things to do. And so every day we have to set priorities. We have $1 and we got $10 of things to do. So every day we got to figure out what are we going to do with that $1. It's hard. And I know, again, that doesn't solve your problem, but I just want it to be very clear here. We know there's a problem. We know it's unacceptable.
Well, why, I understand there's a problem, there's no money for refills. So why, meanwhile, they will pass the machine at least twice a month to keep the roads okay? That's what I don't
Let me
understand.
explain something to you real quick about rain and machines. They can pass that road grade over that road right now, tomorrow at noon, it'll be exactly the same. Some of these road beds were not done properly, they're not DOT rock, there's a lot of sand. You said sand, you said the key word. Those beds were not made properly in 1960, whenever it was, all right? So the thing to do to your road is, in my opinion, is dig it out and resurface it correctly with the proper lime rock. Now they can go in there and throw all those lime rock you want, grade it. Until it dries, it will not harden properly. It's going to be a mud hole. You can go in there right now and make it worse. So they can grade it. It'll be the same way. It needs to dry. It needs to dry. And then when it dries, try to cover it up somehow and hope it holds. But the problem is, if it doesn't drain, it's going to be the same problem. Now, you say you have 12 people on your block. There's a block with 4 times that many people having the same problem. So there's where we're torn. Where do you go first?
This gentleman asked about a roller. Can you address that?
A roller is going to do nothing in this mud. Absolutely nothing.
Because he said they graded, but...
Well, you can roll it now, it doesn't matter. Wet rock will not dry, it becomes mud. You can do it all day long, you can run up down the road and waste money and waste time. Until it dries up, it's a waste of time. So, maybe we need to look at hers a little harder when it dries, but right now...
Caridad, let me explain to you how the process is for each quarter mile road.
Hold on 1 second. So this is not going to be a back and forth, people. We're going to do this decently and in order. If you want to say something, please raise your hand. Hold on a second. Louis, you have the floor.
Like you said, Mr. Chair, for the record,
For the record, tell them, Louis.
I've been addressing this road situation since I got here. They keep telling me we're gonna buy a water truck. We're gonna buy a water truck. I'm not an engineer, but if you don't wet that before you do anything, the molecules don't stick. I can read the United States Marine Corps, United States Army Corps, Air Force Air Corps on building roads. We have war, we fight all over the world, we build roads. If those people are using water to keep the roads together so the washouts will not happen, why are we going to get a truck, a water truck? When are we going to get a trailer? When are we going to get a water hose? We're spending all this money, and it's washing away if we don't do it right to begin with.
We never addressed it.
What do you mean we never addressed?
We haven't addressed her road.
Oh, we haven't addressed her road, but we have addressed this issue with the roads all over Montura. And if we don't buy the equipment that we need, yeah, we're spending all this money, but if we don't do it according to what the engineers know, am I right or must I have Mr. Wrong?
Every different kind of material
Right.
has a different optimal moisture.
So if we don't comply with the requirements and the procedures of repairing the roads, we're going to keep going in circles, and in circles, and in circles. We need to buy a water truck, for the record, buy it.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is James Herman over in Appaloosa. I know you all know me by now. I asked over a year ago, well, maybe not, when you did this little road out here, over to Pine Cove and down toward Mary Lou, goes like this. Talking about waste of money. That road is one of the worst roads I've ever seen be done by any contractor, yet you all signed off on it. You're paying the contractor who did it, am I right? You paid the contractor who did it. It's the worst road. drive on it. Tell me it don't go like this, like this. Come on, what type of road? And then I asked, the next time he did it, oh, improved by experience, said not the exact word. But when you do it again, maybe it's better. That was what the Spanish said.
I didn't say that.
I said it wasn't their exact word.
No, I didn't say that.
You know, I said the second one that he did is better than the one they did over here.
We're talking about our dirt roads, our paved roads are fine.
I'm talking about the paved road.
Okay,
Paved, finish.
it's fine.
When you put money out.
It's fine, sir.
What, huh?
It's fine.
What's fine?
It's absolutely fine. Every road that we've done meets standard, is stamped and sealed by the engineer. It's fine.
It's not fine.
To your standard maybe, but
Why anyone else standing?
listen, I'm not,
That road goes like this.
Listen, sir, you have your time, my son. You can go ahead and sit down now. You've had your time, sir. You've had your time. So listen, we have a deputy back there, so please, I don't want to escort you, so please, would you have it sit down,
You wanted
please?
to shut me up.
I don't want to shut you up, sir. I don't want to
Why
shut
are
you up.
you saying?
Mr. Herman, you've had your moment. It is fine.
Mr. Hurst,
Mr. Bennett,
let it go.
was it approved?
Sit down, let it go. Sit down, let it go. Sit down, let it go.
Waste of money.
She's gonna sing it out.
Get it wrong.
First time. How many times you gonna say it? Sit down and let us get on with the meeting.
So we'll let the subject matter experts speak. You're gonna have to sit down, Mr. Herman.
Mr. Herman, listen to
He's
me,
the only
Mr. Herman.
one here that knows other than me. And what, long time ago, 10 years ago, you said you do one road at a time.
Mr. Herman,
Listen.
please, Mr. Herman, listen to me, look at me. Let it go, please sit down, I don't want to see you be escorted out of the meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you, Deputy.
Mr. Bennett, so can you speak on the road that they're making reference to so we can move on? We have a gentleman that has his hand raised as well. Can you speak on that road, please?
Yes, our specifications call for a 1-inch overlay, which is basically what we could afford to do on these resurfacing projects. These roads, in that case, these roads are so bad that you couldn't take all of the bumps out of that road with a 1-inch overlay. We would have had to put probably 2.5 inches of asphalt down as a leveling course, and then put 1 inch on top of it to make that road completely smooth. To protect what we had and to give us a better surface, we used 1 inch. So that's how it came about.
And again, as we're mentioning, we're not passing the buck. This is the carnage that we are dealt with. We're dealt with years of not doing anything. We haven't done anything, so we have to start somewhere. Somebody had their hand up. Go ahead, sir.
Carlos Avalo, 565 South Cape Rock.
Okay.
Any plans on the post office? You know, you don't get mail delivery.
I want that one right now.
Post office.
We've got 3 that can speak on that. That's good.
Let me finish.
We
Go
have
ahead.
nothing to do with the post office.
Huh?
This 298 has nothing to do
Go
with the
ahead.
post
Go
office.
ahead. Finish your statement. Go
No, we
ahead.
don't get mail delivery. We have to use
Yes, sir.
the post office.
Yes,
box.
sir.
Or is there going to be any plans on upgrading that? It's
Good question. I believe he's gonna speak on it, and then I'll speak on it as well. Good question. Very good question.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you. Go ahead. You address yours first.
I present each of the board members a letter from Congress, United States of America, top of the line.
Can I add to that 1 second?
Go ahead, sir.
When Montoro was project, they decided to use post office box.
Okay.
Back then,
Okay.
the post office won't deliver mail. The Montoro, they built that for the residents. So
That's what I'm gonna bring up, but I'm gonna have Louis talk on that, but I'll shed some light on that as well. Good question. Please, I'm glad you asked that question. Go ahead, Louis.
Everybody can hear me, right? This letter is from the Congress of the United States of America. I've been personally fighting this post office thing for many years. I know other members, we have tried to do our best, and we cannot do anything about it. Now we can. I presented a letter to the attorney for interpretation. For what I read here, not an attorney, for what I read here, like the chair said, the buck stops there.
Yes, it does.
It is our responsibility to rebuild the facility and accommodate the residents of Montura. So, for the record, here's a letter. Whatever happens now, it's up to the rest of the board if you want to vote on it, on whatever, Mr. Chair. But now we don't have an excuse to make up and say this and do that and whatever.
So, just to speak on, I have been actively reached out to the postmaster locally. It's fallen on deaf ears, so I've reached out to the district manager out of Miami. I've been dealing with them for 6 months. So, and I also, as Mr. Napoles served in the U.S. government, there's a big bird that's on that post office, correct? There's a big bird there. It says government property, correct? So I've asked the United States Postal Service, whose building does that belong to?
Right now, no choice.
That's what they say. That's what the United States Postal Service says. But there's no documentation. They've archived it, listen to me, they've archived it and they still can't find it. And she met with her hire managers, and I've been reaching out to her for 3 weeks straight via email, via text, via call. I'm still waiting for it because they have no agreement with the board that was whatever when they did that. There's no agreement in any archive that says who it belongs to. So as I spoke to the lady, I said, listen, I serve the U.S. government, I know how it works. If you see that sign, it says property of what? Montura? It says property of the U.S. government.
Maybe back then they used to give all that supply so you can build that.
It could have been.
And then it's got the name property of the United States.
So this is what I was trying to do, Benny, and I agree a little bit with what you're saying, but this is what I was trying to do. Ma'am, explain to me whose it is,
right?
Because we'll build something, or the residents will build something. I just don't want to go in there. You know, touching U.S. mail is a federal crime. I don't want to do something illegally. That's what we're looking for clarification so we can do something.
All right. We can beat this horse and...
I hope that's a good thing. I appreciate it.
Do we have the legal authority to get in the postal business?
Yeah, so
Simple as that.
there's 2 issues. So, Central County Water Control District. It's, all people call it a water control district or a Chapter 298 district, because it's created in Chapter 298 of the Florida statutes. You can Google it. So, not just Central County, all water control districts in Florida, there's over 1,000, have 3 things they can do. Water control districts are called creatures of statute. A city or Hendry County, they're different. Hendry County can do anything it wants unless a law, a state or federal law, prohibits it. Other than that, they can do whatever they want. We are the opposite. This district can only do what the statute gives it authority to do. And right now, it gives us authority for 3 things. And I think as a public service, sometimes we go above and beyond that to help the residents, because that's what we want to do.
Yes, sir.
But the 3 things are recreation, this clubhouse, drainage, ditches, berms, canals, pump stations, and then roads. Those are the 3 mission elements. We're not in the garbage business. Hendry County is. So on this postal service, a year ago, we just jumped on this issue.
Yes, sir.
We've all written letters to our congressman, to Diaz-Balart.
Correct.
I wrote form letters for everyone to be able to send in form emails. I sent a letter to him. Some of you sent letters to him in person. This is, you want to talk about federal bureaucrats? Be nice. The U.S. Postal Service is #1 about useless government bureaucracy. I mean, I do this for a living. I've never seen a more unresponsive government agency than the U.S. Postal Service. But this letter is a form letter that was sent to Mario Diaz-Balart, our congressional representative. And they didn't even give him the dignity of a personal letter. This is a form letter that says, for more information, go to this website. This is to our congressman. But it does say that, I'm just going to read it, regardless of what mode of delivery or type of mail receptacle may have previously been provided, current United States postal policy requires that the purchase, installation, maintenance, repair, and replacement of mail receptacles are the responsibility of the customer. Now, I don't know, this is a form letter, it's really disappointing that we didn't get a real letter. They might be thinking that you all have mailboxes in front of your house.
That's right.
You can't tell, this is a damn form letter.
Right. Good point. Good point.
So again, once again, a year we've been on this, a year. We got this is nonsense, gobbledygook. I'm gonna go check out the website that's referenced here to get more information. Is it in the mission of this agency?
No.
Absolutely not. Are we gonna try to help? Yes. These people have told me, go try to figure out and see if there's light at the end of the tunnel. We're gonna continue to try to do that. I can tell you that I researched this a year ago when they told me, and it says in the law, you cannot tamper with U.S. postal facilities.
Guess what?
It's
If
a
a truck
crime.
comes by and hits that, little, house there.
Yes, sir.
Where all the boxes are at, none of us are gonna get mail. They won't
Yeah.
deliver it. There's not a mailbox, they won't deliver it.
Doesn't change the law.
So we've been trying, we took pictures of the seal
Yeah.
and sent it to Diaz-Balart saying, hey, this is your federal agency's property, so, fix your property. Well, now this letter is even more confusing than before. Nobody's taking responsibility.
But we're working on it. We're working on it. And because of the growth of our community, that will not suffice what we have going on. As a matter of fact, I don't know about you, but if you get a package and it's on a rain day, your package is going to get wet because of all the stuff that goes through there. So they have seen the millions of pictures. Some of you that are working behind the scenes, like a lot of us, I thank you because we're going to get some results. Benny, you got the floor for 2 seconds.
Many years ago.
That's it.
Many years ago, we had this battle with the post office. And then, it's funny, their position then was federal property. I'm not sure if Sumter County donated it to them or not, but don't touch it. Now that there's money to be spent, they're passing the buck everywhere. And that's what I wanted to say. Every time I hear this, I go, but it's not something we can do legally. We've offered to help, they told us to leave it alone. Now, they say it's ours. Well, I beg to differ. I remember some of the conversations with the post office many years ago. So, well, the point is they're trying to, just like everybody else, they're trying to back away from their responsibility. It's not just the post office. We have issues here with the county, with the school. Everybody wants this district to pay for everything. It's not within our scope. It's not within our budget. We don't have budgets to do so.
When CCOM investigated a couple of years ago, we were given a paper, half of the sheet. And Cookie gave it to me and said, look, this paper says that we're not responsible. We gave them the land, and they put the building on.
And that's what I believe we did. We don't.
Okay, I cannot find that paper. I'm gonna look for it. Because I don't know if it's still on file. And do you remember that paper? Okay, I'm gonna look for it. And as she gave it to me, she said, this is to prove. Then I went to the post office, and the master gave me the same paper and says, look, the same paper that Cookie gave me, look, this shows that we're not the owner. So who do you believe?
I recall that. That land had to be given to them, in order for them to build, or they wouldn't build on your land. And here we are. But if everyone out there will send a letter to your congressman, you guys, there's a lot more pull in 3,000 letters than 4 board members. Come on, 4 board members are not going to pay attention to us. Everybody in the community needs to send letters and reach your government. Everybody wants to put it on this board. This board doesn't have that power, y'all. Everyone needs to do it. Send 5 or 6. Get your friend to send 5 or 6. That's how you get their attention. The more people that send them, the more of the attention they're going to pay.
Thank you. We have some results in, but anybody else have a question for landowners? We're in the landowners meeting. You have a question? Okay. Any other questions from the landowners? Good. And they're very good questions. Guess what? And there's some hard questions. And they have to be answered. They have to be answered and in a timely manner.
Mr. Moffitt,
Yes.
at the end of the day, we have to realize that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes,
We have to
please.
realize that that post office was built back in 80s, 70s.
I don't know.
Well, it was a while back. I don't remember the exact
A
date.
while back, a long time ago. Montour has taken a growth spurt immensely. Okay, I get phone calls every once in a while from the gentleman that delivers the mail. Says, Rolly, come and pick up your mail. And yes, Juan,
We gotta
thank
give
you.
you credit.
Yes, he does. And he goes and he sends me messages out there, and he says, come and get your packages. And most of the time I have to drop what I'm doing and just run out there. And some days he's waiting under the rain. And I don't think it's fair to him to go ahead and I'm sorry I'm giving you my back, okay? It's not fair to him that he has to continue waiting and waiting and waiting for us to go out there and pick up those packages. He's done a fabulous job. But again, those were built long time ago, and Monturo right now has seen a major growth spurt, and we have to get them updated. I've been involved in it as well, Mr. Muhammad, like you mentioned, I want to get it done. She has, right here, she has put in her 2 cents, a lot of you guys put in 2 cents. So Mr. Benny here said, if we could all come together and the board could find us the correct information where we can mail it to, I believe that we can go ahead and start mailing those letters out to them, okay? Montour needs to be united, and I think right now is the best time to start getting united. We've been through a heck of a crisis this year, so believe me, we gotta move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? So we can get the results, we'll find out who's filling in seat number 3. Any more questions, good comments? And we all live in the same neighborhood, which is a great thing. We're all trying to make this place better. All right, with that being said, Ms. Swindle, Amy Swindle, please. If you need some seats, just let us know as well. We'll get you some seats. She'll introduce herself and if you're not like the rest of us, you're good.
Good afternoon, my name is Amy Swindle. My name is Amy Swindle, I'm a certified public accountant here in Lewiston. I've been hired by Central County to come out and do this election, the ballot, and count the ballots. No member of the Central County staff or the Central County board was involved in any of this. They were not involved in counting these ballots, they were not involved in handling these ballots, everything was handled by myself and my assistant. Therefore, there were 155 votes cast. Mr. Santana received 86 votes. Mr. Hitzman received 69. Yeah, 69. So Mr. Santana is the winner.
Attorney? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Congratulations, we're going to swear you in. Would you come over here? Okay, raise your right hand. Okay, please state your name. Okay, Mr. Santana, I'm going to read the oath of office, and you repeat it. If you don't understand anything I say, let me know. I, Carlos Santana, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and the government of the United States and the state of Florida. I'm duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida. I will faithfully perform the duties of seat number 3, Board of Supervisors. I am now about to enter, so help me God. Thank you, congratulations.
With that being said, can we get a motion to adjourn the landowners meeting? Take like a 10-minute break. We have a motion, we have a second?
Yes.
Meeting, landowner meeting adjourned. Thank you. Let's take 10-minute interval. We'll go to our regular meeting. Thank you. We'll get this regular meeting started. Becky, why don't we do roll call one more time?
I'm waiting for the
District Attorney,
Here.
District Treasurer,
Here.
Supervisor Alvarez,
Here.
Supervisor Miller, Chair,
Here.
Supervisor Annapolis,
President Concord.
Supervisor Santana,
Here.
District Engineer,
Here.
and District Manager.
I'm here.
Let the record show that Supervisor Naranjo is no longer,
Yeah,
correct?
he's been replaced
Replaced.
by Board Member Santana. Duly elected, okay. And so, since, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
one thing forgot to address that we do every year, and that is, under Chapter 298, the board members can be compensated in an amount not to exceed $50 per meeting. So, for example, last year, at the landowners meeting, a majority voted to continue that compensation. So basically, for every meeting that they attend, they get a $50 check. I can tell you these guys put in many hours outside of the board meeting. But anyways, does anybody, and by law you just have to indicate, does anybody have any objections to continuing the $50 per meeting compensation for board members? Is there any objection? The deputy is objecting.
Run her out of here, run her out of here. Are you a landowner here? Run her out of here.
Wait, you're not a landowner? Okay, so we won't take that into. All right, great, thank you. Thank you, pick up.
You want to address number C, introduction, and, well, we've already done oath of duty elected supervisor, so we don't have to take care of that, right?
Yes, sir, we got that.
It's already done, okay. D, Board of Supervisor election of chair, vice chair, and secretary. So we need to go ahead.
So, once a year, the board decides on a chairperson and a vice chair, and they can, currently, the chair is Juan Mata, and the vice chair, is the vice chair? The vice chair is Louis Napa. So, this would be the opportunity now for you to discuss and nominate a chair and vice chair, or decide whether you want to continue as is. Yes, sir.
I believe that it's more intelligent to wait for the next meeting, simply because we have an election and we have 2 seats on the line. So let's suppose we nominate Denise today for the chair. In 2 weeks, she's going to be off the chair, is going to create. So I hereby move that this selection of the chair, the vice chair, the secretary, all that, be postponed to the next meeting.
But this is the landowners, thing
So-
you're supposed to do.
So it's typically done at the landowners meeting.
Correct.
Lewis's point is a fair point, that as some of you may know, there's 2 more seats are open that will be handled by the Hendry County Supervisor of Elections on Election Day in November. So there's 2 more seats. Seat number 4 and seat number 2.
So get out and vote.
So yes, please, get out and vote. But, so that's really your,
I say we do it now.
okay.
That's what the charter says, let's do it now. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I just need a show of hands. How many people want to vote on a chair and vice chair today? Okay, so that's 4 out of 5, so then you have to nominate somebody, and then you vote. You cannot nominate yourself.
Mr. Mata, I will nominate Mr. Mata to continue.
Okay, we have a nomination from Mr. Mata.
Mr. Mata, are you willing and able?
I don't know if I'm able.
I'm sorry, are you willing? I didn't say that, right?
I'll step up.
I should have asked you. Now, if you want to take some time off, we can trade that.
Whatever.
He's done a great job.
Okay, so we have a nomination, and Mr. Santana second. Any other nominations? Okay, hearing no other, can we have a vote then of the board on Mr. Mata as chair? Okay, that's very good, unanimous, thank you. So, Mr. Mata, looking forward to your continued leadership. Now, vice chair. Any nominations on a vice chair? Yes, Mr. Santana. Anybody? Nomination?
I can't nominate myself.
No, you cannot. Anybody want to nominate Ben?
I nominate Benny.
Okay, nomination for Benny. Mr. Santana second the nomination. Any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, so vice chair, Benny Alvarez. We vote. Very good, unanimous. Congratulations, Mr. Alvarez, vice chair. Would you like to raise it? All our love and appreciation. That's your raise. Okay, very good. And then the next item is, so again, this is in the statute. You need to appoint or reappoint the district engineer, the treasurer, and the attorney.
I hear make a move that we keep what we got.
We have a motion on the floor. We have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Our professional services will stand as it is for the next fiscal year.
And then we'll just go to adoptions and deletions, and adoption and deletions.
All right, we have any adoption, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda items? John, do we have anything like that? Mr. Boyd, any adoptions, changes, or anything like that? No, we're good?
Good.
All right. Mr. Bennett, we're good? All right, adoption of the agenda. This agenda here. No, adoption.
Yeah. So you're just gonna adopt it as is. Right. As
And
is.
then if we can get approval for regular board meeting minutes for September 23rd, 2020, do we have a motion?
Becky has something?
That's what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
When I sent it through the scanner, it stuck to the second page, so you guys did not receive it.
Okay.
So you can't vote on it.
We can defer it, it's not a big deal.
It'll be for the next one. For
So-
November, I'll have them both there.
September 23rd, 2020, meeting minutes deferred to the next meeting, which brings us to public comment.
And we have one at this time. We do have a public comment.
Raymond.
Mr. Raymond, if you would stand, tell us your address.
145 Dado Street.
Yes, sir.
We bought two lots over there, 135 and 145.
Yes, sir.
We did not know that there was an easement that runs in between the two lots, 10 feet. So we went ahead and did a new fence. Eddie was the contractor. Now we pretty much have the permit stopped at the city over there because they want a letter allowing for you guys to allow us to use that easement as part of the property. But of course, I mean, it's still you guys, and whenever it's got to be used, it's there, but we just need that letter.
It's not going to be fenced in, we'll be able to access it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, what kind of easement is it?
It's an easement for all the properties that run.
Is it drainage? Is it a drainage?
It's not, no, it's not. It's not a canal bank, it's, no.
Mr. Bennett can speak on it. It's the same property, same situation I had on one of my properties. He can speak on it. Thank you, Raymond.
Some of those early Montour lots, some of those areas were actually recorded plats, and they had utility easements on them and alleys. And
in favor of Central County.
And they were dedicated to Central County, but the dedication had a reservation in it that if they were vacated, they go back to the developer.
That's correct. Paper I showed you on that.
So they are dedicated to Central County.
Okay.
And they're 10 feet wide, I think, is typically what they are.
Do you have a copy of the easement?
We do not.
You know what?
So can someone send me the easement? I need the legal in the easement to send the letter.
Yeah, it's 10 feet in between the lots.
Yes, sir.
It runs all the way
There
from.
probably is no meat legal for it, it's just that it's shown on a plat.
Exactly, it shows on the plat. There's no legal.
Okay, can you send me, so when I say
Okay, I
something.
did a survey. I did a survey on both my properties.
Right.
And the survey, it shows it.
Perfect, that'll work. Can you, I just need something that shows the easement. I will make it an attachment to my letter to the county, assuming the board, I need you to vote, assuming you agree to that. I will attach the survey to my letter so the county knows.
Right, because really what they want is, it's a letter saying that it's okay, that you guys say that it's okay, so they can close the permit.
Sure.
So the motion I'm going to put on the floor is we retain the easement. We can use it at any time, and he can do whatever he needs.
But let me ask you, Raymond, so that 10 feet, like for instance, I have a property in the same situation as yourself. I actually have 5 feet on the side and 10 feet in the back. Me and the back man have 10 feet butted up to each other.
Okay.
If we grant him, he's gonna want to fence that 10 foot in.
Right. As a matter of fact, as of right now, it's fenced in. If you guys need to use it, you guys can use it. I don't care. Because the thing is that I have.
Put up gates. Line them up, put up a gate on each side. That way, if we need to get in or out, we have a key, and I think
That's fine. That's okay with me.
Question, go ahead.
Right, so we're talking about authorizing the placement of a gate over the easement area held by Central County.
Yes.
So my letter will say, we have no objection, but it's a conditional grant. If Central County ever needed it in the future.
Right.
Yes.
We can take the land.
It's highly unlikely.
Yes.
If it ever happened.
That's fine.
We could remove the fence, but, you know,
That's fine. If you guys ever do need it, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna close the fence and leave the 10 feet in between the lots.
But if he puts a gate at each 10 feet, there is no fence. There is no problem.
If he wants
The
to.
gate's a gate here and a gate there, and then we can open it, access it anytime. There's no question about moving anything. The gate will open and we can go through.
Exactly.
Doesn't mind putting the gate there.
Right.
This is on the front, Raymond, of your property, or the back end?
It's in the front, and it runs from front to back of the property.
On the side.
On the side.
All the way from Cabbage Pond.
Yes, sir.
833 between 835.
Yeah, all those lots have the same problem.
145 is 10 feet.
And if I'm not mistaken, in the past, that was there for water, sewer,
From
electrical.
Cabbage Pond.
That's what that was for, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Between 135 and 145 lots, on the address is 10 feet all the way.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Between the lots. Separated
Yes,
lots.
between the
Not
lots.
the backside, between
No.
the lots.
It's in between the lots. It's in between the lots, yeah.
No big deal.
Mine's on the back side.
Good.
No, not really.
We'll get it.
Me and my neighbor we had to give him 10 feet on it, but we'll talk about that.
I have a permit from this district, the right of way.
Well, that's what he's
on
doing
my
as
house.
well.
By my house, I didn't put a gate up in each section, no one can go through.
I understand.
So that's the same thing, you put up a gate, you have access to it. God forbid, something happened, we need to get through there, and run your fence over, they don't have to run your fence over, you got a gate there, a gate there.
Let's just make sure we have something in writing.
So,
Yes.
you know, so in real estate, you have an easement, that's recorded, that's forever. You have a license, it's a conditional
Yes.
grant.
Yes.
This is a license.
Yes.
You're not changing the easement.
Agreed.
He's
To gate
getting
up
a
the easement.
license to put a fence.
Yes.
On the
You
easement.
can put any conditions on there, so.
But we need to be crystal clear with it as well.
I'll bring a copy of the survey.
The
Bring
plan.
it to Becky,
Yep.
and she'll send, and we'll get it done.
Sounds good.
You guys got a.
Can we do that? So by next board meeting, we'll have something.
Hey,
Hopefully we'll have some.
If we get that air conditioner fired up, you want.
Well, we're gonna put the news out there, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a suggestion box at the clubhouse, and we'll have, you know.
And what are they gonna do?
Exactly.
What are they gonna do? That's what we do. It takes a community to raise a kid. To raise a child takes a community. Not what Central County's gonna do. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
They gotta get involved.
Yeah, I'll just drop them off at the door. and take off.
I'm not a full-time babysitter.
I've
Exactly.
seen a lot of that.
According to the last group, it was brought to us.
Okay.
And we sat down and I did the calendar with the person, and we started putting like bingo night, movie night again, to kind of, at night, to see how many will start showing up. Okay? This is something that we're putting together to propose to the board.
Okay.
again, it started as a group of women, and it ended up with one taking care of it at the end.
And that's the way.
It just burdens that one person.
Of course.
Because everybody else is, well, I can't make it, I got something to do. Well, I can't make it, there's no responsibility, no commitment.
I'm willing to try again.
So, no, but that's why we sat down, and I was like, okay, well, let's figure it out, maybe movie night, at night.
What about volunteer night?
Huh?
Volunteer night.
That would be good.
Volunteer for.
Hey, I'll be here for volunteer night personally for free and open up everything.
Is pole dancing?
That's entertaining. That's entertaining.
Except pole dancing.
So you just want to table this to next meeting, or till we get?
If there had to be a motion made, I say we look at it for the next month or so.
Okay, so
Get some people signed.
I don't think you guys make a motion for that. All we gotta do is
Put out a list
put
of
the
things.
news out there, put
Let's
a
see what happens,
submission
yeah.
box, and
I'll sign up for the cornhole, I'll put that, I'll come up.
I'm in.
All right, good. All right, thank you for that, board. Thank you for great, so let's discuss and vote. Well, I was gonna, so John, clarify this on number C, because this is also coming from me. This property behind us, which is called Isora, correct? This property right behind us is Isora. There's nobody actually physically living there. I was thinking, as we're progressively getting bigger and people are gobbling up land, I was thinking as a board that we probably need to gobble up that street if all possible at this present moment because of the future and everything going on. Plus, it's a prestige property that's already designated something that a lot of people are having a hard time to get that designated for that purpose. But with what you just said, I don't know if it's a good idea to purchase it now because.
Question.
Go ahead.
Can we purchase? Okay. Is that within our scope?
Oh, absolutely. You can buy and you can buy and sell land,
Okay.
but when you buy it, the
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
there has to be, public justification.
Correct.
You can't buy it to make say, well, let's sell it in the future, but you can
No.
say it's adjacent to a large holding already.
Right.
And
You
we
wanna
want to
expand.
create a buffer around that holding.
Right.
You can sure buy land.
There it is.
Absolutely.
So that's how I'm thinking, because again, nobody's there at this present moment, and there's not too many
How many
streets in
acres is
Montreux. So that's probably 7 lots, I would assume down the street, 7, it's usually like 7 lots, so 7 times 1.25, give or take,
There's
it's
8
probably about,
like
okay,
this,
almost
and
10
2
acres.
running like this.
the whole block?
Yes, sir. On that side of the store.
But the whole block?
Yes, sir, the whole street.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually 10 lots.
All right, 10 acres. 10.
And they're all adjacent.
They're all adjacent, yes, sir. Boom, 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 all the way.
We want to expand our horizons across.
In the future, you may want to build, who knows, 10 years, you want to build a soccer field, another baseball field, it's-
Well, the other thing is, it's already designated something that's gonna be worth something, it's already worth something. Again, there's things that we have to do as a community. If we do not raise taxes, which again, I'm a taxpayer as well, if we don't raise taxes, we have to think of other ways to make money. But if we don't do it, somebody's gonna have our buffer zone. So what are you guys thinking? Any questions?
How much, they're all independently owned, right? So we have to chase down everyone and see what.
You would
Oh,
literally,
let's look at it.
you'd have to, yeah, chase everyone.
Let's chase it, see what happens.
And what zoning does it have that you're waiving now?
It has a C1.
Which means
commercial.
C1.
commercial one?
It's commercial one.
Everything here is residential, Denise, so there's not,
One number.
very little commercial.
C1, you can look at it, I won't explain to you, but there's only C1 right now. For us, there's only one, I think C1 and C2. There's no such thing as a C3. But, like for instance, I thought everything on 833 was commercial. It is not. There's a lot of residential. So again, so that's.
And the county's looking at that, I think, as part of
They're
their.
looking at that, but the
plans.
biggest issue is they're not going to, they're gonna buffer it because they don't want all that traffic coming from 833 to turn off that road.
Right.
Or going into 833. You're gonna have to use probably that access road, which, what, Arboleta? The first road is Arboleta, right?
Yeah.
Arboleta. That's probably the way they're gonna want you to enter that 833 property. So that was my idea. You guys can have questions, you can throw darts at it, you can put a motion on the floor, or we can, move on.
Let's first look see what we have to do to acquire. Let's check. Who's got, you may have 2 people in there saying, I'm not selling. True. So why don't we look into it before we go any further?
Gotcha.
Let's get somebody.
John, you wanna look into it?
Yeah, I'll get with you.
Yeah.
And Benny's right, it's really, the vote is only to look into it.
See how we can acquire it, right. See how we can
Well, if we're
acquire
talking
it.
about 10 owners, that's
It's gonna be a lot of work.
major
It's a
effort.
lot of work. I have to know somebody in real estate.
All right, so we'll move on. Thank you on that one. D is discuss and vote 5 acres. Okay, so again, Herminio and his team have cleared off, is it 5 to 7 acres, give or take?
It's like 10 acres actually.
Okay, so it's 10 acres, yes, it belongs to Central County. Right beside Central County, there's that open land where we have that pile of field, and then we have that open land, right? Again, just thinking as a person to try to bring revenue. There's a lot of people clearing land right now, and they're putting it on their neighbor's property, which you gotta love, right? They're clearing the property and they're putting it on their neighbor's property. There's a lot of people clearing land and hauling stuff off. So one idea that I have is if they're doing that, and I believe we have enough acreage to make it happen, we can bring horticulture, which is just vegetation. It's not steel, it's not wires, it's not all this other stuff. Bring it onto our site, and we dispose of it by either mulching it, burning it, and of course, charging a fee. So I just want to know, John, is that possible to do something like that?
You can do it, it's just that slippery slope again. We always, we're not in the trash business.
We're not.
Trash disposal. When other people come.
We are in the trash disposal business though.
Well, right, yes. We are.
We are in that business.
We're having to clean it up.
Tried to get out of it, we couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the board voted to get out of it, and then it voted to get back into it.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, it's, I want to do it, it's just.
What's the board think about that?
I don't think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Simply because pollution, and then they're gonna blame us for burning plastic, and they're gonna burn us for.
Horticulture.
Has to be trees.
Horticulture.
Who's going to be there?
Yeah, I think
plastic
it'll be there
culture.
taking care. Okay, so I think the liability of the people blaming us for something that we didn't do.
Gotcha.
And if you see a picture of smoke, the attorney can say, well, look at the smoke, but they don't know what the smoke contains, so I think it's a.
Go ahead, Benny. Good point.
I know that we're having a lot of trouble with burning now, and air quality. It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Okay.
Number one, but think about this. If you do that, my concern was we were not going to get allowed to charge. Because we sure don't want to take on any more than we can. We can't, we're already hurt.
Okay.
So if we can charge, and you can do that, people that have lots that are burning, I mean, it's going to help the community. Because you got people out there now that are piling crap up everywhere and burning it and catching everybody's lots on fire. The fire department's running around here, so that may help to slow that down. You bring in a certain day, you pay so much to dump it, and then we have heavy equipment, you pile it up and you burn it and you keep it out. That's the advantage I see to it. It's going to slow down the craziness in the community and maybe even fires.
Well, I don't know the answer, but
Yeah.
my guess is, when you own a lot and you clear it and you burn the debris, that's one thing. If we're going to start charging, and maybe the engineer, but I got to believe Hendry County or Game and Fish are going to require a license or permit from us if we're not going to charge money and start, and I don't know how big these piles are.
It's gonna get big.
Yeah, there's actually a burn permit. We used to have one in the
You gotta get permits for that.
Oh, yeah.
You have to send somebody to actual
One thing
school
is,
for it.
having a little backyard thing, another thing is collecting from a community, and that's another.
When you see what he's gonna have to do to burn, it's gonna scare you. It's a book, it's not serious. However, I am for the idea, I like the idea because it's gonna take some of the burden off the fire department. I mean, you see, burning around all the time, people piling stuff around and set it on fire. That will slow that down if that will justify what we're trying to do. But we're gonna have to get permits, you're gonna have to get permits. You're gonna have to get somebody certified to burn, 'cause that's the new thing now. They have to be certified. They're gonna go through a rigorous process, and with all that being said, I still like the idea.
What about mulching?
you a minute.
Well, in reality, if you're burning anything that is more than 8 square feet, you have to have the rest.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, the permit is just, well, what we call it is just calling it in.
Permit's easy. Go ahead, Josh, question?
Instead of doing the burning, what about a mulching system?
Again, there's an investment there, so again,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get
Ain't got
creative
no
as a
money.
board.
I know.
Again, I'm being honest with the community. Sooner or later, this board, we're gonna have to raise your taxes. If we don't do something, I'm trying to throw ideas, I'm not saying they're perfect, but if we don't do something, your taxes are gonna get raised just as well as my taxes are gonna get raised, so we have to figure out something. But, so we have a vote, yea or nay?
For the mulch thing?
Whatever.
Not the mulch, I'm sorry, the burning.
Yes, sir.
Again, I don't think we have to vote, I think you need to go look and see what it's all gonna take.
Okay, so-
Are we gonna have to pass?
No, you guys need to decide. I mean, it's a good idea. We can always send somebody to get licensed or certified or whatever, that's fine, but you guys need to.
So on the legal part, John, figure out on your side.
I don't want to get involved. I personally don't want to get involved in burning.
You're one of 5 board members, brother. You're one of.
So do we vote?
My only concern about that is that that property is right next to the reservoir. That's my only concern, and we don't really have water access on that side. Now, the burning part, I mean, I can get somebody get licensed real quick, I mean, it's not a problem.
of Florida. Maybe you can burn right next to the canal. This side.
The motion I have is, if we need to make a motion, because we have different opinions here, is that we look into what it's gonna take to do this, and then we present it back at the next
That's a
meeting.
good idea.
And one of y'all check it out, see what we have to do before you keep throwing stuff on John here. Let's look into it, see everything we have to do.
Can you look at
Everything.
Hendrick County?
Yeah.
I gotta believe there's.
Oh, they're gonna be permits.
And you're gonna have someone certified. Game and Fish also has their own.
Yes.
We did that before, when Cookie was here, sent me and another guy actually to, Immokalee to the UF Center, and we got certified, which my certifications is up now. They're canceled, but I think it was like $100 a person to do it or whatever. But now, I was just talking to John about it, he does a lot of this, and he said there's a lot of rigmarole with the state, with air quality and everything now.
Didn't I just say that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, yes, go check it out.
I'm with you, I'm with you.
If the air quality's not right, they won't let you burn it. It's a big deal.
There's a lot
Well,
to
they
it.
gotta be so far from homes, it has to be so many acres, you gotta have a whole watered down system, you have to water them.
Yeah,
The wind, berms, earth.
the winds,
Yeah.
anywhere going around houses.
I mean,
you
the
can't close
way it
around
used to
houses.
be, like when I was working here, the way it used to be is the
That's-
permit is not a paper, it's actually a number that you call. And you actually have to, when you go through this class, you have to know your windage, you gotta know, and anything that actually happens, so if an amber falls from that and burns somebody's property, you're held responsible for
The
it.
book we got's about, the numbers about this thick right now.
Yep.
It's changed a lot. It's a big
Yeah, it
deal.
has.
So let's just go ahead and scratch D, don't worry about it all. Let's just scratch D and don't worry about it. All right, thank you for everybody for your comment. We'll go to E, discuss and vote Central County driveway permit. I'm not sure whose this is.
Mr. Famero, the permit that you sent out,
The new form.
the new form for the,
I just sent it to you guys to review and comment on it. It's not ready for the board. So,
I thought you wanted,
no problem.
could you attach
I
it
sent
to
it to
it?
the engineer and asked him for
Oh.
comments, and hasn't gotten back. That's not ready for prime time yet.
Okay, so scratch that off, just,
No, we had talked, we talked about having a better permit set up, that's all.
So let's go to the manager's report.
No money. Don't ask for nothing. No money. You don't know what to say.
Arminio, floor is yours, brother.
We're getting ready to start roads. We are getting ready to start the roads. Again, I want to ask the board from now, so I keep my eye on the budget. So what happened last year is when I get to the point where the money is gone, I stop, right? On rebuilding roads.
Yeah, just one suggestion that I would say is, like, say for instance, I'm just gonna throw
I'm just gonna throw it so it makes sense. We have 12 months in the fiscal year. Let's just say fuel in your budget is $12,000 for 12 months. That means you have $1,000 per month to buy fuel. If you could do that with your finances, like for instance, I'm not sure what's in your budget for this year, 200 something thousand?
3,000. 300,000.
Okay, so if you could divide that. So if you could divide that by 12, you should, boom, know exactly how much, to spend per year. So we don't do like we did last year, hey, we spent all the budget in the first 6 months. Like for instance, you had a young lady here that was complaining about her road. I got a lot of complaints about roads, but we were out of money. So if we could make it last the whole fiscal year, it'd be a lot better.
Okay, well, it's fine, but it's still gonna be the same material, even if you split it out.
I understand, but if there's an emergency, as a board, we have to make a decision as well. Like for instance, Mr. Hermina did a great job last year. He ran out of funds and he told the residents that, hey, our landowners that, hey, I can't do anything, I ran out of funds. We have to be able to give him permissions, hey, by the way, use his best judgment, by the way, this is critical. We really need to spend $10,000, $15,000 to address this possible liability.
Yeah, you need to have a little something in the bank just in case.
So, but I would recommend, I'm not sure how the other board members feel, but I would recommend to divide it up per month so you know exactly what you're doing.
No problem.
My opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good idea.
Yes,
So he's
ma'am.
gonna be in charge of the budget for everything that's in, just for the roads?
He's in charge of everything. He's the day-to-day operations general. He's in charge of the whole budget. He's in charge of the budget. That's what the district manager is. That's what the district manager does. So, anything else on your report? Sorry.
We're still mowing. Do you guys look at the papers with the trucks by any chance?
Papers with
All the numbers, that you guys needed to go through it, or?
I haven't had a chance.
No?
I can tell you a story for the.
Well, anyway, we have another idea.
Okay.
In case you guys don't like the idea to buy 2 new trucks with 2 new drivers.
We talking about dump trucks?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been talking with Mr. Bennett, and there is another way to save money.
Okay, good.
We have a rock pit on our reservoir that they start digging, I don't know how long back.
It was in the early 90s. And I think what happened is they had an agreement with Ridgedale when they started building the roads out of here, if I remember correctly, that they used the fill out of our rock pit to actually build the roads. I think they had to pull permits, and I don't know what's happened after that. So,
I was talking with Mr. Bennett, thank you, Josh. I was talking with Mr. Bennett, and Mr. Bennett was telling me that that permit is still
active.
Active.
Well, that's good.
So, if I've been looking into, go ahead. We have 2 trucks that we can use to transfer the line road.
Okay.
The biggie over here would be the, how do you call it? I forgot how you call it.
The conveyor belt.
Yeah, conveyor.
Yes.
The conveyor.
That throws it on top of it.
Right, that separate the rocks and everything. Of course, we have to make our way
Yes.
to the rock pit and everything.
Correct.
Which we can literally use the levee also.
This is, that rock pit, if I'm not mistaken, is by Horse Club, somewhere in that area, Camino Real?
It's behind 5.
Where the gun range used to be right there, where people used to shoot down.
right, exactly.
Yes.
It's in between Camino Real and Hunting Club, I guess.
It's like between 5 and 6.
Yeah, 5 and 6.
Okay,
5 and 6.
I'm with you, I know it right now.
Right, so if I've been looking into the conveyors, there's a lot of auction companies around the country. We're not going to be able to buy a brand new one because they go over 100,000. But they do have a lot of them that are used. We got to be careful with it. But they go anything between $40,000 to $60,000.
That's for the conveyor.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
So that's another idea.
Do we have to crush the rocks as well, like most rock pits do? You know how they crush the rocks? They take the big boulders and they make them to 1.5 miners, 2 inch, that kind of stuff. That's a whole different piece of equipment.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh, yeah, it's a very
Yes.
expensive piece of equipment. To rent or buy, it's very expensive.
Do we know, Mr. Bennett, how much fill do we have in the ground?
We don't.
How much line rock we have access to?
We need to look into it, probably dig a little bit of it and sample it, that kind of thing.
Definitely need to sample it, it's worth it to measure with.
Yeah.
If it's not as good as DOT, we might as well don't use it.
Keep going, man.
Okay, this year we,
No, sorry, so what's everybody's thoughts on it? Sorry about that. We're talking about that subject.
I'm back to where I was before, we need to go in there, dig, sample the rock, and see what we have before we even go any further with this.
Is it okay for us to do that, Mr. Bennett, to excavate and check, see what's in there? So we'll do like a proctor test on it, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we can get a sample of it, take it away, and get a sample. But we probably ought to dig,
Sorry about that.
dig three or four potholes around.
Yes, sir.
it,
Oh, yeah.
How much we got.
Yes, spread it around.
Have a representative sample.
Good, yes.
Mr. Santana, you have
Yes,
yours?
sir. I would like to go back to the roads.
Go ahead.
Caridad was talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is there any way we can put some type of refuel in those roads that we can fill those holes? Because I went to her house that time. My campaign, it's too much, big holes.
Yes, sir.
I know it's everything is sand, right?
Yes, sir.
Is any way we can do like Benny said, some type of refuel?
Well, we have,
We don't have to spend that much money.
No,
Putting asphalt.
we do have field that we've brought in. Ridgedale has brought some field. I'm assuming that's Ridgedale that has brought some field in. So between that, Herminio will prioritize what needs to be done and he'll go for that.
And something else, right now, there's no sense in hauling any slick, dirty rock into anybody's road, because you're gonna make a pothole mess into a swamp that you can't drive over. It's got to dry.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gotta dry before you can do anything, otherwise you're
Because
gonna
I
make it worse.
was doing the campaign, I had so many complaints.
Yeah.
Residents who put together.
The great thing is.
Tell them we're gonna raise their taxes $200 an acre and all the roads are beautiful.
The great
Well,
thing
that's the truth, they want it all good, but nobody wants to pay
The
for
great
it.
thing is we're going to dry season. We're about to get,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. So
They just vote for me, if I told them that,
You can't have them
they're
both.
gonna think they vote for the wrong person.
we're going to say that you wanted to increase the money.
this is, Mr. Santana, let me explain something that she didn't let me finish. When you have a road like Perimeter, Cano, Dado, Riverside, there is been abuse to the max by four-wheelers, side-by-side, you name it. Cano is one of the worst ones.
It is.
Actually, it's worse than Perimeter.
It is.
Now, Cano is sand, literally. We do go from Pinecone to Perimeter almost every 2 months. We do the whole circle. You can go to Cano all the way to Perimeter on Monday. If it rains on Tuesday, you lost all that time.
That's why I'm saying that we should put some type of fuel.
So let me explain something. Like we always say, if this board has $2 million, trust me, I will go through $2 million in a year. Rebuild the road. I went through $70,000 in 1 month. 1 month. And like they said, we're not even making a dent.
Nobody's happy.
Here is the thing. When you have a road that is being graded for so many years with no material, it means that your ditch is 6 to 8 inches higher than the road. So I have to meet that 8 inches and go over another foot, so I can do the crown.
In Paso Fino, where the telephone wires were at the top of the road.
Exactly. And then, yeah,
So
the greatest.
now you put in almost 18 inches of line rock on a road. So you have an idea, 1/4 of a mile. It takes about 25 trucks of line rock. 25.
But it's better than putting asphalt. It's less expensive.
No, we talking about line rock or shell rock, however you want to call it. If you wanna pay Cano, that's, you're talking about $3 million.
No, I'm saying, no, I'm not talking about asphalt. I'm saying about refuel, like, Benny said, you know, we can fix it. cleaning up all the road and filling, instead of with sand, putting the refill with 20 cents.
Yeah, no, we don't buy sand. We buy.
No, we don't buy sand.
We buy shell rock.
No, I'm not talking about sand, I'm talking about refill. Putting a refill in there.
Yes, sir, that's what we're gonna have to do. Yeah, no, but what Benny's saying and what Herminio's saying is, first we have to wait for it to dry up, that road has to dry up, and then we come back in and, we're band-aiding it, but yeah, it still needs to get done.
But one thing I want to mention with I don't think no tractors go by there now, no trucks can go by that road there.
Yeah, probably a little difficult for a tractor to go through there now.
Yeah. I went there. There are holes. I have an explanation. I have to go around.
Yeah, we have, if you drive all day like I do from Honduras,
I do. Volunteer. I'm a volunteer for the church.
Okay.
And I do.
She's worried, and I don't blame her. She has all the right to do so. Now, she has 12 people complaining, right? I have 3,000 people complaining. So here is the thing. Let's say I want to do Cannon all the way, right? If I want to do that, I can do nothing else but Cannon.
Do you know why I mentioned Cannon? Because Cannon is a major street in Honduras.
And
it comes all the way from Pinecone, all the way to Puerto Rico.
And so is Perimeter, and so is Taylor, and so is...
But it's not only 12 families. There is a lot of families out there.
But what you're gonna see, Santana, and I agree with what you're saying, but we don't have, as you're on the board, we don't have the budget to do all, you know, that's the problem. So that's the balance. No, I think it's great. But keep going.
And then, just so you know how Cannon is basically San, is Pan Bronchos, let me know. If you go and do 3 crops, just to release a little bit, those 3 crops, that's $900 that you're basically gonna lose in 2 weeks. Because if sun is gonna go down, there is no...
The right way to do that is to dig it all out, because you keep covering it, all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on it, and it's gonna keep leaving. That's a temporary fix that's gonna keep going away. You need to dig it hard, down to the hard bottom, and re-rock it. That's costing a pile of money.
That is one of the main reasons why it's taking, the process is taking a little longer. And it's because I don't want to put patches no more. I've been doing it for the last 2 years. We are rebuilding roads from front to back. And there is, like Napoles says, I did Napoles Road maybe 2 years ago. It's still the same way. I haven't been go back to Napoles Road in 2 years. So that's a success.
No, but it's pretty good. I go by there, Patron. It's decent.
Exactly, but that's only because we rebuilt the entire road. We didn't patch the road.
So we might be able to do that again.
We do, but we don't have the money for it.
Let's just, for sake of time, we don't beat that dog to death. Let's go to the next.
Just so you guys know, I don't know if you guys noticed, but our conference room is completely destroyed.
I've seen that.
I hope.
What conference room?
We're gonna get it back and running before the next meeting. Don't worry about it.
What conference room?
Our conference room.
What happened?
Remodel.
Oh.
We're remodeling the whole thing. I mean, it's been there for a lot of years. There's a lot of humidity. We gotta change the walls on the bottom.
The water's seeping in on everywhere on back.
It's not sealed up right.
Right.
It's horrible.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
We've been working on this project. We've been working on this project.
You guys did a good job.
I think it came out really nice.
The guys did a really good job. Tell the guys they did a great job. That was awesome.
Thank you.
That was a really good job.
One of the more important parts is the pool. Becky and me, we've been looking for a pool contractor.
My motion is, he can put a gate up to unite his property for, well, he can put gates up that we can access at any time.
If we need to.
To that unite his property, but that's still ours, and that's what we.
At this present
We're not giving up the right of way, we're just letting him gate.
Exactly, you just got, You guys are just letting me use it. Sure. And if you guys ever do need it in the future.
And you're okay with that, Raymond?
I'm okay with it.
All right, so Benny has a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Or any questions, sorry. Is there any questions that need to be asked?
I thought we were gonna wait for the attorney to come up with the legal thing before.
Yeah, you're telling me what you want, and I'm gonna write it up.
Yeah, any questions, Louis? Okay, so what it is, I don't have a whiteboard here. So let's just take, for instance, let's take all the properties down 833.
No, I understand about the easement, I understand.
Okay.
I understand. Louis. I just don't know.
Here, here.
Yeah, and what happened is the county, it's on a plat.
I got it.
So he applies for a building permit, they go, wait,
Yep.
he's got this on the plat.
And that's what they
And
did.
that's exactly what happened.
However, he can't build anything in that easement.
No. Listen, the only thing that I'm doing with the easement, I'm just putting,
You're not
plans
the property.
communicating the properties.
That makes
That's it.
sense.
That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
I would like to have a key for those gates.
Right. Our manager should have a key. Matter of fact, why don't he put his lock on it, and we put a lock on it? Double lock it, like.
That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to explain with the problem. You got that problem with this property in particular because you own both properties.
He owns both
It would be different people.
Yeah, if it would have been just one, it would have been no problem.
They don't have that problem.
Right. Yeah, that's easy, that's an easy one. Just get-
Thank you.
So just vote, you gotta vote.
Well, we have a motion on the floor from Board Alvarez. Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
All right, so Monday, I'll bring Becky a copy of the
So you
survey.
get your stuff signed off in the county.
Sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Becky, is there anybody else?
No, he was the only one.
All right, do we have any?
2-minute job, 2-minute job.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Parsons, residents of 185 Woodley Road. I want to start out with presenting the board and the county certificate of appreciation. Thank you for all the with our cleanup and reservoir. Entonces, bueno, que no puedo stop, so I'm gonna put that up, guys.
O entonces te digo eso.
There's also some letters from the private letters that were taken, letters that were passed out for everybody. From the bottom of my heart, guys, really thank you. This is the first time we've ever had a community work. And Central County actually working together with the public. I think something actually very nice that we do appreciate it. Just to give you an update really quick with the reservoir, we just had a cleanup this last weekend. We had over 150 people actually show up to the reservoir cleanup. We had 120 adults and there was probably about 1,800 pounds of trash that was actually picked up, 4 tires and 2 radiators. And within a period of 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Also, it was a meet and greet. We invited all the board members, everybody in the public, and their landowners were not, and still come. Had a really good turnout. All the board members pretty much came. Pretty much. Second of all, I want to ask, I had a question that was asked to me over that weekend. Now that we're open back up to the reservoir, are people still allowed to walk and ride the bike on top of the dike like it used to be?
Good question. I think we stopped that all that access.
No, it was only motorized vehicles were stopped. You were still allowed to hike, walk, and bicycle. Motorized vehicles.
Can you shed any light on that? You can go along.
I literally stopped the road, has ever come back. And I don't see a problem with people walking.
We need a vote on this?
Yeah, and just so that we're clear, I thought it was limited to motorized. Limiting it to.
What we don't want is motorized because every year we have to.
So, but I don't ever remember them prohibiting pedestrian traffic.
Yes, when we had the,
I asked them, they told me no, I couldn't go.
No, that's right.
When the corona had happened, we had shut the reservoir completely down.
Right.
Everything, died inside and all. Well, we had opened up the inside slowly but surely and then kind of down a little bit, but nothing's been said about the dike.
Stage 12, go ahead.
Exactly.
When they voted back, they voted everything the way
Yeah,
back.
everything's back.
So it's so bad.
So that we're clear, everything's back up, you can walk and ride a bicycle, but no motorized vehicles. Correct, okay. Second thing I want to kind of go over, we have a lot of ideas that were thrown during all this, and everybody came and participated. What they would like to see the next time we have one, what would they like to have in the surface on. A lot of things were put in there, like storm shelter pavilions, small pavilions, like 10 by 20 area for people to actually get out in case they got caught out there in a bad lightning storm. If the board will okay it to do more investigations, I put some pamphlets together with some different companies and stuff, pricing and so forth on, see if I can do that well.
Who's gonna pay for that?
Well, that's another thing, we had an idea. Since we had this venue this last time, and we had such a really good turnout, we had 4 actual vendors show up. They didn't sell anything, but they actually was advertising their business. They donated a lot of stuff to the actual organization that day. If there was some way that we could actually get permission from the board to actually have vendors start promoting these things and actually be able to sell.
So that brings up a good question. Do you have anything else to say, so I can?
No, that's it.
So,
That's an easy one. You don't have to,
Go ahead.
you can't do it.
Josh, I really appreciate the effort that you put in there. And for the record, I think the board of directors should write a letter of appreciation
For sure, yes.
for the service rendered.
For sure.
I believe we need to have a plaque made for them.
No, just a letter would do, right?
No, I think, I will say this, and I will wait for them to get done, but, I am beside myself, the job that y'all have done.
They have done excellent.
I never expected it would be this good. I can see it going no other way, as long as it stays the way it is. What a tremendous job. I just can't say enough.
We have no intentions of going any other way but we're going to do.
There you go, Josh, and we got for the.
To be honest with you, I mean, I appreciate it, but really and truthfully, it's the community. Without the community, this would have never really happened. And we have a lot of volunteers that's actually been showing up in a lot of places.
But you guys stepped up. You guys stepped up when nobody would. I agree, the community has a lot to do here, but you guys did it when nobody else would. Organized it, worked with us.
Yes.
We threw the idea at y'all. Y'all ran with it.
Yes.
Not everybody wanted to do it or cared to do it. So you guys have spent a lot of time out there, and we really thank
It's
you.
a great team effort, yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So, John, how can we, well, thank you, because I can't sit down. I get it.
It's easier to sweat when you're standing.
Exactly.
Your theory.
So,
Do you think we need an air conditioner?
Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
No, we don't need.
so as a board community, we have to get creative because I think now we're probably going on 18, 19 years that we haven't raised taxes in our community. That's a good thing, it's a bad thing. So we're trying to be resourceful to figure out ways, creative ways to make money. How is it, John, what can we do to, like, for instance, we can make things happen. As a board, we can make things, we can book things in, and we can take risk and liabilities. Like, for instance, that cleanup would have been a great success, but the vendors that wanted to come in wanted to sell some type of product that they had. If I'm going to donate $1,000, $2,000 types of dollars, I want to be able to display my items and that kind of stuff and do some transaction. What do we need to do as a board to approve that and to go forward? Because we haven't done something like that in a long time. So what is it that we can do to go forward?
I mean, you have to change the law. You cannot.
Excuse me before you answer the question. On this point, I had to give back $800 of donation for the Rusk Award because they were not allowed to do anything.
All right, go ahead, I want to hear this.
So how can we get past, this little hurdle here?
So every day, there are private companies that fund public activities or public interest or public benefit activities. That happens every day.
Yes, sir.
And there are many ways in which we can facilitate businesses contributing money. And we've done some of that, putting their names on flyers, things like that. But to conduct commercial business
yes, sir,
on public land,
that's what we're supposed to do.
Taxpayer money, that doesn't happen. That's not exception. That is you cannot, You cannot do that.
So how do we do, how is that? Okay,
You cannot conduct a private business on taxpayer-owned land.
So let me ask you, so how is it that they do it at Sugar Fest? And all these festivals that we have, there's money being exchanged through credit card, cash, whatever. How is it, how is it happening there, but we can't do it here?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know what Sugar Fest is. so-
Sugar Fest is an annual festival that we do. It's like Sunfest. It's like what they do downtown in West Palm Beach. You know the fest that they do every year? Sunfest? Sunfest?
Yeah.
They do that every year, right? Sunfest. So there's a lot of vendors there selling their supplies, selling their products, and you purchasing their products, having a good time. It's like a festival. It's like
Right.
Calle Ocho. You go to Calle Ocho, there's a lot of vendors.
Gotcha.
Why, how is it they can do that in West Palm, Henry County, and everywhere else, but we can't do it here?
Now I understand what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, because, like I said before, the cities and counties, they can do whatever they want unless there's a law that prohibits it. There is, and there's cases, and I can come up, you cannot allow commerce. Commerce is, let's say I sell Cricket phones, and I put up a little stand in the reservoir selling Cricket phones.
Okay.
That's prohibited. I can show you the
Understood.
geo opinions. Now, does that mean we can't partner with private companies? No, of course. I think we have been to a degree, yeah, but for them to actually physically set up on the land and sell goods or services, that's where the line gets crossed.
That's why we stopped all the vendors that were all over the right-of-ways around here years ago, for that same reason. Because they would park on the right-of-ways and sell food and stuff, and it was a similar situation.
Ms. Miller, yes.
So do you, is there an exception if we have the back street, let's say right here, this street that is behind us, and we want to have a flea market there, a monthly flea market, once a month, for the community? We're not allowed to do that either?
On district-owned property,
Yes.
what we've done in the past, and I think this came up when Lewis, if they provide, again, this is for a community service, they provide the liability insurance protections and the hold harmless agreements.
I had everything, and you guys turned it down.
Right, but that's because I think they didn't want to.
Do it here in the clubhouse.
Exactly. The decision, I believe, if I recall correctly, was that would displace people who were trying to use the clubhouse. It wasn't because of legal
It's
reasons.
behind, on the other side of the street,
Yeah,
behind,
I
the
think
other
we
gate.
talked about doing it, yeah,
Right
in
there.
one of the vacant areas, right?
Now, why do they have to get the insurance?
Because if someone got hurt.
We cannot have them insured because they're out there in our streets? That's a street that has no commerce, no traffic.
What he's asking, Denise, I think what she's asking is,
Why do they have to get insurance?
can they, since Central County has insurance, right? We have liability insurance, we have all kinds of things. I think what she's trying to say, can they fall under our umbrella of protection?
If it becomes our flea market,
Like if they
We are-
were to pay a little bit.
we
We're
are,
not in the flea market.
I know we're not, but there,
You're
you
talking about,
cannot,
so that if I'm a taxpayer, I'm gonna use my dollars to protect a private enterprise?
no, but we're gonna use your money to make money, which is what the chair has been trying to do a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Now, the only way that we could do that is by providing a service in our community that we already have.
Yeah.
We already have that space, let's use it to the most. If we charge, and that becomes our flea market, Central County Water Control or Montour Flea Market, whatever you want to name it, and we do it once a month, and we make $1,000 on one day, that is money we could use for the roads. I mean, 1,000 is nothing.
It's not in our charter, we can't do it.
But that's the question.
I think I know what you guys are saying. Let me think about it. I can tell you that, you just, no government, you can't, you're government. You can't be in private joint ventures. You just can't.
So what you're saying, let's go back to the reservoir thing. Let's go back to the reservoir, so I can be clarified. So we can have private companies come in, set up, but there can't be,
Private companies
we can't have
provide
any funds.
funds to enhance the reservoir, which is in our mission,
Yes, sir.
recreation.
Yes, sir.
And as a, I guess you'd call it a trade-off, you know, we can allow them to hand out their some materials. We can have a flyer with their company seal, thank you.
But no selling the products.
Yeah, but conducting commerce.
It's a different story.
on-
Okay,
that's a-
I just wanted clarification on that. Good. All right.
A line, yeah.
All right. Any questions, Louis, you have any questions?
And not even in one of our rules, no property that belongs to Central County, can we have any fundraisers?
Correct. But we can't be in the business of joint venturing with,
Is that because it been in 298 or because that's the way we're set up as a, is it because of the 298?
it's primarily because of 298.
Okay.
I think
That's what I just
there's
wanted to clarify.
more prohibitions above that.
Remember, the 298 didn't say we could do mail-in voting. No one found the paper that was floating around supposedly that all that had been fixed, and we had to stop it, because it all goes to the legislature. I've been through this one a million times, trying to come up with ideas, but, yeah.
Mr. Santana, you have a question?
Can we do events at the Vessel Ward once a month or twice a month? So people can come in, we can do motorcycles and we can, go on that.
No, you can do an event.
Yeah.
Make money.
Events, they just did
Not
one.
saying that.
Yeah.
They just-
Once a month.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what they,
Yeah, we have events, but the thing is we don't collect any money from the events.
Correct.
Everything is donation,
Donate.
or it comes out of a budget that's set to the side for the reservoir.
What I'm saying is we can do an event where we can charge people for coming to Vessel Ward and riding bikes and riding motorcycles.
We already have that.
Yeah, we already have that.
yeah, I mean, so people can buy a key to go in, but you're saying people who don't live here?
Exactly. We did that as a recreation place so they can come in, have a good time, and at the same time they have to pay.
I mean, you
Go
could
to
do that,
the
that's
whole
a
thing.
whole other, I mean, you could allow non-owners, but that's.
And that's the whole reason that we come up with a committee.
We're in the four-wheel business, that's the same thing that we just said we couldn't do.
Yeah.
We let owners go in, buying a key to help us offset the cost, but then if you start opening that, first of all, I'm totally against it because of the disaster we've had out there. You let 2 or 3 in from out of here, and the next thing you know, they got gloves and everything else. But, it's the same thing, we're charging people to come in like the mud hole down the street, we're not the mud hole in.
So at this present moment, then, as we stand, we cannot legally do commerce as well as flea markets and other things of that nature.
So let's.
I just want to be clear, okay?
We've had events.
Yes, events, yes, we have.
Not-for-profit
Again.
events.
Yeah.
Money benefits the community.
But a flea market,
That's
yeah.
different than allowing Cricket to set up a tent and
Yes.
sell cell phones in the reservoir. You can't, just by way of example, that.
Oh, crystal clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where
Well,
it jumps.
We'll just come up with another idea.
No
We'll keep
problem.
working.
Josh as well, from the bottom of our hearts, you guys did an excellent job.
Thank you.
That was an excellent event. I was there as well, but there's many people that work behind the scenes. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for doing that. A lot of people got involved in this event, as well as they did a horse parade event. I heard there was a lot of good things. I seen videos, so Montura really had a good time last weekend. So hopefully we can have many more events, and we'll work with what we can, John. And if we can make adjustments as we go, we will, hopefully. So I think that was a good thing. Any more public comments before we go forward? Good. All right. That's.
Now you got the agenda.
Now let's go to our agenda.
4A.
Okay. Well, you know what? Well, yeah, because this is something you vote on. It's not the supervisor speaking yet. You're on the agenda? Is this on the agenda?
My stuff?
Yeah, is it on the agenda? Okay, so let's go through the agenda. Let's discuss and vote on the Henry County, you have to use this first. Henry County School Board, remove old portable and add new portable, 2 portables. I'm not sure what we're making reference to, but.
Out there?
This is.
Who brought this up?
We have a call from Henry County School District. So what they want to do is, they want to, there's an old building on the other side of the 2 new portables. what they want to do is permission from Central County to do exactly what they did on this side. Remove that one and put 2 new portables there.
Is there anything that we're liable for?
It's already, you guys already vote on a lease. Right. It's already under a lease. They just asking.
They want to remove the old portable
Right.
and put in 2 new ones, because
Gotcha.
the old one's already done.
Is there any fees on our part?
No,
Do we have the lease?
it's, we already have they have a lease agreement with us for $1
Do
for
you
the
have
property.
a copy of that lease? The lease?
And the school board does, I think.
Can we get it?
Yeah. Kevin McCarthy was the one that explained it to me, because couldn't find where the lease was or the agreement was on that.
Okay.
And so he kind of filled me in about what it was. This is just presenting it to the board that this is what the county wants to do for the pre-K program here. Okay, they were gonna, legally put the papers and everything and present it, but they wanted to just give us heads up of what they would like to do.
Okay, so.
This is something that just come up last week, basically.
Okay, so if they agree, they're gonna send me a proposed lease.
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
yes.
Do we have a motion on the floor to approve? We have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Just, John, make sure we look at the contract to make sure nothing's violated or nothing wrong. You can go ahead and let them know. Just, okay, this one I want to discuss and vote on extending clubhouse hours. So I'll let Herminio at this present moment speak on the hours, and this is my proposal. But I want him to speak on what we do now and what the community has asked. Of course, it's up to the community and the board to vote on it, but just explain the hours of operation as we have it, as we speak.
Right. The hours of operation in the clubhouse is from 7 to 6 every single day. Except there's an emergency or something like that we have to close. And of course, if anybody rent the clubhouse or anything like that, hours will be up to 11. That's basically what we do in the clubhouse. 7 to 9 is basically for the employees in the morning to do the cleaning, replacing the toilet papers, this and that, picking out the garbage at the mail, everything. And then at 9, the doors open to the public until 6.
Correct. So this is what I'm trying to propose. This is what the community is supposedly spoken out, because you can see we're well in attendance, right? So here's what they asked. They like for this clubhouse to be open longer hours, because they get off of work, they don't get home. So trying to possibly extend it a couple more hours, maybe like till 8. But again, this is what I'm proposing. This is what I'm proposing in my mind. Maybe try it, because Herminio and his team have to adjust their hours. Try it for 3 months. And if it does like it's been doing, that we go back to regular. Because again, I've been told by many people, we've done this many a times, they don't come. They do not show up. So again, I want to put it on the floor, as Louis might say, for the record, if the community doesn't come, we're going to go back to how it was. As you can see, if you look, there's nobody here.
I want to say, Miss Denise tried one time, 3 years ago, something like that, with the pool.
Understood.
And I'm sorry, Benny, did I get in your way?
No, go ahead.
So it doesn't mean that it's going to change now. Maybe it will work now, but back then, we literally have 2 lifeguards sitting plus the employee for those 3 hours. It was from 6 to 8.
Yeah.
And no, not even one person.
But, and this is, before you speak, Benny, this is what I'm trying to tell the community is, I'll propose it, right? The board has to vote on it. I'm not going to get mad if they vote yay or nay, but it's not like you're banging down the door to come here and take advantage of what we have. So, with that being said, Benny, you got the floor.
I would like to see some kind of proposal by some kind of group or something, because I just heard him say that we tried it. We had a domino night. A bunch of people were after us. Opened up the clubhouse. It came one time, never came back. And then the excuse was the air conditioner. Well, you knew there wasn't air conditioner here when you asked all that. I can go back many years. Doesn't mean it's not. That doesn't mean that it will not change now. So I'm for trying something, but I just want to say right now, how many people is it? If it's one person that was said by another person, you're wasting your time and your money. If you have a couple, let's take a little survey. Who will use the clubhouse? And then let's get their names and let's see if they do.
The survey to me, Benny, is because they've done a good job when they come here in the morning. Hold on one second, John. They have to, get their temperature checked. They log in, and I've looked. They don't come. They don't come. But again, I said I'm willing to bring it before the board. But you got to come. You got to tap in. You got to do stuff. So again, that's what I'm proposing. Hold on, John. Go ahead. Sorry.
I have an idea. It may or may not work. I don't know. The reservoir has a committee because of the simple fact that the board doesn't have time to do what we need them to do for the reservoir. So we do the legwork. Has the clubhouse ever thought about trying to maybe get a committee to kind of do something like that to get people to start coming in? Not to overstep anything that y'all are doing.
No, it's fine. The clubhouse, I've been in the clubhouse since 2013, and we have tried many things. And to be honest with you, there always been a committee in the clubhouse, which it was between 5 or 6 ladies from our community, and they bust their behind to do a lot of stuff for the community. And if I'm lying, please, I need to say something. I mean, we try everything: movie night, Halloween, Valentine, Christmas, you name it. And we never had that many, unless you give him food for
Unless
free,
you give him something away free,
nobody will come.
Well, just to let you know that anytime that the clubhouse or Central County or this board needs a committee to help do anything, my team will be willing to help.
I appreciate it. Well, maybe you can join. We have a couple ladies that has been meeting with Becky, and we put in a lot of events for the whole year. They are already write down and calculated and everything. Maybe Patty, you can go by the office and get a copy of it. We're gonna try all that. One more time, 2 more times, 3 more times. That's okay. I mean, I can do it all day long. Now, keep in mind,
the community has to get involved.
For example, not to go so far, when the last time we did movie night, right? We got 23 kids that show up. I was happy. Well, you have to calculate more or less how much you want to spend for an event.
Right.
And that day, we got like 100 cupcakes. There was
a lot of it goes away.
just leftover. So it's not much, but it's another $80 that you just.
Yeah,
So
maybe we can do a sign-up sheet or something like that.
Thank you. Go ahead. Benny.
The motion I want to put out here for what he just said is I want some, before I would go along with it.
Go ahead.
Some kind of list of who's going to use it after hours and what for. You're going to change schedules, move people around. Correct. It's all expensive. Of course. For the same old song. As far as I'm concerned, it's the same old song. I've been watching it for over 15 years. So let's let these people come up here during the day and sign something. They're gonna come, okay, here, sign up. We're gonna use it at this hour. We're gonna use it. Let's see how many people we get.
So we can put a suggestion.
So watch this. You guys that have access to Facebook and all that stuff. Benny, what do you think about this board? What do you guys think about this? That we put something on Facebook, social media, we put it out there. Hey, if you want this to change, if you want extended hours and you want to utilize our facilities, sign up and get involved and partake. If not, it's going to continue the way it is. Let's try for next meeting. Hopefully we have something.
But you're going to put it on Facebook for them to come here and sign?
Of course.
All right, no, because I was going to say, don't get there.
No,
here, I want to see them physically come here.
Like for instance,
walk in here, say hello, and sign the paper.
Like for instance, like, hey, if I come in and say, by the way, I want to do, I want you to have a cornhole night, we play cornhole tournaments. It can be horseshoes or whatever, pool, whatever.
Right.
But let's put some stuff, let's let the community think, let's let them get creative, and this is their clubhouse. That's how I see it. This is their clubhouse. But if you're not here, you know, it's sad, it's not being utilized.
You can have a full resurfacing night.
Come out here. We went to Clyde Johnson. Mr. Bennett is trying to find somebody still. I called like 8 people from West Coast and East Coast, and every single one of them told me the same answer.
Dig it up?
We don't go out there unless we do a brand new pool. We don't do repairs far away from home.
Okay.
And I said, well, why? I mean, it's still a job. He says, why do we want to go out there when we have 1,000 pools around us?
Exactly.
So I even spoke to Mr. Mara, see if he got somebody. So just so you guys know,
I actually do.
we're struggling to find somebody to.
How about this right here? Any word on this? Now that we're on that.
Okay, I meet with Clyde Johnson and the other guy, I forgot his name. Matt. They came and measured everything. They still haven't come back to us. I don't know if they got back to you.
Mr. Chair, can I take 5 minutes? Can I take 5 minutes since we're all here? Go ahead. I mean, we talked about it, but we're here. All we want to do is go from the edge of that wood, a drop ceiling. I don't want the building rebuilt, brought up to no, nothing. Just go right across the top in that area right there. It's a drop ceiling. It's very, very simple. And then however much air conditioning it's going to take to run it. I know they're going to, okay, because I know how it starts. It starts with a drop ceiling, and no, we'll live with air conditioning. If we need to add a few tons to it, for the sake of we're losing a little bit, so be it. And we can't rebuild this clubhouse. All right, I just want to make sure we're all straight. Everybody agrees. That edge, all the way across, it's going to be a drop ceiling. It's going to be hung from the top. They're going to hang it right at the top edge, right at the edge of the white and the brown. It's going to come all the way across. They hang it from the wood from the ceiling. It hangs up.
Mr. Bennett, so how do you foresee that side being closed and this side being closed?
Well, this side I'm not too worried about. Okay. Honestly, I'm not worried about it. Over there, we're going to have to. They're going to have to come up with some kind of wall, and I even like the accordion style.
I personally told Mr. Clyde Johnson that we cannot have our wall there. It has to be a see-through.
Well,
it has to be.
You can do some kind of accordion, clear plastic. Yes, and that's cheap, and it'll keep the AC in here, and life goes on. Because if you let them, we'll have $100,000 in this project, and we don't want $100,000 in this project.
Is the little pool accessible or is it closed as well?
It's closed for liability.
Okay.
I'm sorry
No,
about that.
it's okay. So once the big one is done, then the other one is accessible, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So where are we with the air conditioner?
They came, like I said, and they get all the measurements. They did a lot of stuff, but they haven't come back yet.
Gotcha. I would like to see the final drawing.
Right, yes.
Somebody send it to me. Let's see what he's done.
Well,
I don't want
you guys are going to have to approve it.
Gotcha. Yes.
And just as an explanation, the reason why we need a see-through wall there, because the bathrooms are going to be on this side. So I've been in the clubhouse long enough to know that if we put a actual wall there, that it's going to be a problem.
Okay, so we have to use a conference room at the ISIS building, and that's what they have. It's a huge, it's way bigger than this. It just goes beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
And the see-through?
Yes. Well, that one isn't, but you can get it see-through. Go ahead.
Everything else is still the same. That was the main, more important parts. We're still mowing. One of our new tractor is on John Deere. The hydraulic pump is gone. Good thing is on warranty.
Good.
The clubhouse, I already talked about it. Our main, the bathrooms are already done.
Good.
Completely.
So it's open.
The only thing is left to do is to repaint on the outside and the doors. Everything inside brand new.
Good.
We went to hell with. Everything else is the same. We do have 237 permits that we sold on 1 year.
Permit for what? Oh.
For the covers.
No, okay.
So if you guys have any questions?
Good. Anybody have a
I
question
do.
for? Go ahead.
I'm assuming that the wall is going to
to allow access to that bathroom right there.
So you know, you see the column right behind the door?
Yes, sir, the white one.
It goes from that column to the other column on the other side.
The two windows here are this way?
Will be inside.
The two windows are going to be inside the room.
Okay.
Right here?
Let me make a suggestion.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
And that means that if we rented this place, this side, anybody needs to use the bathroom, they go to the outside bathroom.
No.
Why don't we just move it to the other side?
You didn't understand what I said.
If you're renting
This
this
is
for a
rented.
party.
So nobody comes in here. They go use the outside bathroom.
the other
The people that are in the
The other
swimming pool.
Why don't we cross that bridge when we get to it?
Well, it doesn't make sense if
They
we
go
do.
outside, well, they can come here real quick.
We have two bathrooms outside.
So if you.
But if we rent, it could happen, but if we rent the clubhouse on this side because of the AC,
Right.
The guests, the other guests, non-guests to the party need to,
normally they always got access to these two bathrooms.
It's no longer, not if we're gonna rent this.
Well, that was,
There's not a lot of parties here.
yeah.
Well, you don't know.
Not now, but because there's AC, they might
rent
be.
it. Listen, we can talk, we need to get it up first, but you can rent it and say, that bathroom access is for everybody, and they do that knowing
Right.
when they rent it.
We've been doing that because some years back, there was a complaint that came to the board. This is back when Fuji was the chair. I don't know if Benny remember, no, Benny wasn't on the board. There was a complaint because there was a big party and then people that were not part of the party were complaining because music and this and that. It's a clubhouse for everybody.
Right.
So they allow to anybody, even if it's a party, to use the apartments.
all right. That's how we have it right now, okay.
Right. So that's,
Yeah, but if we're
I don't
renting
think
it,
it's right when we have two bathrooms outside.
well, if you guys want to change it after everything is done.
Let's get it done, look at it, see how it works.
It's fine.
I'm just talking.
Right.
Any other questions for the district manager?
Did you include here the report that I requested that for now on to let me know how much money was used in cleaning up? How much money we used in the...
You're talking about the signs.
And the signs
We did.
that were replaced?
We did, but we forgot it over there, so I'll send it to you by tomorrow.
And how about the
Not tomorrow,
dumpsters?
tomorrow
How much money
Sunday.
did you spend on dumpsters this month? For garbage?
That's not the.
Last month?
We didn't,
This month?
we didn't talk about the dumpsters. I mean, I don't know from the top of my head.
Oh, okay, well, I got it last
You
time.
did,
That's
you
fine.
did request the signs,
Yes.
but not the, I mean,
That should give me the-
I want to say something. Yes, sir. I just want to congratulate them because we, for the good job we have done with the beaches. You know, the beaches, wow.
ditches.
Beaches, you know, no water in the beaches,
if
water's
you,
warm.
Denise,
And that's a good job.
Thank you, but it's not me.
waste
It's
collection.
it's a great effort between the board, the employees. I gotta say that I had a really nice group of employees that are willing to go.
I'm really happy to see the beaches dry like that.
So, I appreciate it, thank you very much. Denise, for the dumpster, I'm sorry, Mr. Mata. For the dumpster,
She told me it's here.
I can always, exactly, yeah.
She says it's a
Yeah.
little.
He should slow down.
It says sanitary.
Sanitary.
Hey, that's-
Sanitation.
Separate,
Sanitation.
just kind of slow down.
Mr. Bennett, floor is yours for the engineer's report.
All right, we talked about
A minute and a half.
most of my stuff. Touch on a little bit more, we are having a meeting next Wednesday with the grant people. The state people are coming down for a grant application. We should know if they're happy with us by the time they leave. I'll report on that next week.
Okay.
Or next month. We talked about Clyde Johnson, we talked about the road resurfacing, and I think we talked about the C-139 basin.
We did.
So, if you got any other questions, I'll be glad to take them.
No, sir. Thank you so much. Any questions for the engineer? Mr. Boyd, floor is yours, accountant. Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
First, $136,000.
main receivables last year taxes, $3,153.
Okay.
Years over.
Okay.
Just. Collected $50,000 this month. Total fiscal year collection, this full year, is about the same.
Okay. Okay.
The good thing is that all 12 months are done now. It's actually about 20,000 to the positive.
So we actually, for fiscal year 19 and 20, we actually had
$20,000 profit on our cash basis statements, auditors. We didn't spend all the money that we planned.
So we actually didn't hit the 100% budget.
But 100% budget put us like 300,000 over, right? So we're still over budget, not as bad. We're still, we score.
Good, that is great, that is great news.
Yes, well, something.
We're supposed to have a deficit of 300-something thousand, correct?
297.
We want a zero deficit. I'm gonna be happy when we get a zero.
Good.
Deficit.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, that was good.
Okay. Zero deficit. We gotta get a
The rest of it earlier.
That's fine. Any questions for the accountant? Thank you for that great information. That's actually a positive thing for us. It is. For many of us, you and the staff doing a great job. I know you had to buckle down with the field because we probably could have busted that out easily. So we did a good job as a collective team, making sure we stayed under budget because that wasn't an easy accomplishment. That was actually a tough accomplishment. So kudos to everyone involved. All right, with that being said, now we'll go to our supervisory report. Board Member Miller, you got the floor. Yes, ma'am. The floor is yours.
All right. While Mr. Bennett is here, I would like to ask you, Mr. Bennett, on that grant, that big grant that we're supposed to be working on, is there any way that we could get an electrical sign? It's about $30,000, $35,000. Is the money right, or they don't do that?
That grant is only for drainage.
Oh, drainage only,
Yeah,
okay.
only for drainage. We tried to get them to authorize the generator for the code valve.
Yes.
Tried to get them to get some road stuff. They said no.
Okay.
The only road item they approved was, they approved paving that area leading up to the reservoir entrance.
Oh, great.
Because we told them it was an all-weather, so that we could have all-weather access to the reservoir. When we made the reservoir, they brought in drainage, so they did it, and they didn't allow that to be in there, but it was all supposed to be just drainage.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I wanted to say that, and this is empty for the public now, that on November 21st, we're having another meeting for the land use study, and I'm hoping that residents are looking at this at our meetings, or maybe there is some way to convey to them that there is a possibility that they are going to go over how many animals are permitted after they had said they weren't. So that if that auditorium needs to be packed up with people, they are packed up with people, so they don't blame us afterwards. Okay? November 21st at the John Boy Auditorium at 10 o'clock in the morning, I believe it is.
Next land use meeting.
And I think the entire community of Ventura should know about that, so
Yeah, they're gonna be there.
we'll see. Okay? I have Becky, where did you put the pictures? Inside?
Everybody, yes. Everybody has two pictures.
Where at, Mom?
At the level 4.
The other two didn't come up, like, see, they're right here, they're in the back.
Is this it? Okay.
Yes, this, right here. They look like this.
I've got this.
This is a rendition. Look at this one first. Okay? This is what I was talking about planting in Montour. This is a close-up.
This is what you foresee, okay?
Right. Why do I foresee that?
Okay.
It's limited amount that's going to be use of that, of the sidewalk, let's say, I'm looking at, Cabbage Palm, up to here.
Cabbage palm, cabbage palm, cabbage palm.
Cabbage
Okay.
Palm, okay?
Cabbage palm, so when you say cabbage palm, you're talking about, I'd say starting at Horse Club, is that what you're saying, where the concrete pillars are
Right,
at?
right.
Okay, all right, I'll follow you.
Not necessarily start there, but this is what the island will look like. Maybe we'll have 2 islands. I was not planning on putting these islands from there all the way to Central County.
Okay,
I heard somebody say that to me, and I said, no, I never planned that.
okay.
Here you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees, it could be 3 trees, it could be 2 trees. Why do I select this? If you see the space between the road and the grasses, that they planted underneath the trees, our mower should be able to mow that with no problem.
Okay.
Okay? On the back and the front, or push this towards the front, and then the entire back, the mower has it free. They measure 44 feet, I measured it, wide. And Emilio told me that the mower was 15 feet wide, the biggest one, right?
Okay.
So, there should be no problem. The grass is needed because it hides dead leaves, no maintenance. All you gotta do is water these trees until they take.
Okay.
Okay? So, I was thinking of starting with maybe 2 of these islands.
But strategically where?
I haven't selected where. I don't know if I have the right to select where.
Okay.
You have to let me know. You guys have to vote on it. If the manager has to vote on it, if it's his project and not mine, you have to let me know.
It's either the board's project, he has to do what the board says. So
Exactly.
It's gotta be a board project, so.
So let's do this, so we have Horse Club, right, we have Horse Club. After Horse Club is Camino Real, we have Del Sur, Ventura Avenue, Huntington.
Now remember, this is gonna look ridiculous at the beginning because it's only, let's say we do 2 on Cabbage Palm. Okay? It's gonna look ridiculous until we actually build it up.
So can I shed light on it?
Go ahead.
Just a little bit. So kind of Horse Club would be kind of tough because that's a corner. Right?
No, nothing on Horse
I
Club.
understand. So after Horse Club, coming this way is Camino Real, right?
So between Camino
So,
Real,
like for instance, so say I'm coming down Camino Real going to Cabbage Palm. It's my opinion. On the other side of that T, where you hit Cabbage Palm, I could see putting it maybe there, an island there.
It makes no difference where because
It
you're
does
starting.
make a difference. It does make a
Well,
difference.
the reason why I said it makes no difference was because you're starting. You're gonna build every 2 years. You're gonna add to that. You cannot see it here. Maybe on the second picture you can see. Okay, I will eventually look. But this is gonna take years. And why is it, Mr. Chair, and the rest of us? Because these trees that I was gonna put here were $40 trees from Montura lots.
Okay.
And the ones that he took out that were for them were $0 trees. The only thing you paid was the labor.
Cabbage Palm? They're Cabbage Palms?
No, they weren't cabbage palm, they were oats.
Oats.
Oats. We took it out a lot.
You can't transplant those, but it's very difficult.
it's very
He
hard.
said yes.
We can't.
And he knows how to do it?
Okay, well, maybe he does, because it's very.
There are people that can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know people that can do it, I've never been able to do it. IMG.
Okay, it's like my-
Burlap, we have to leave it on the side for like months at a time.
The ones that I was gonna get from this man, that he took it out of his property, he already had them in pots,
Gotcha.
okay? And he was going to plant them
Live oak?
and sell it to us
Or laurel?
for 40, no, live oak. River oaks, like the ones I have on my car.
Okay,
For $40.
understood.
And he was gonna open up the hole and everything. I mean, you could get cheaper than that.
Okay.
Okay, now, this is one thing. This is with flowers.
That's Exora.
Flowers.
Yeah, that's Exora.
Right, I have it on my home,
Okay.
Zora, and you see that they put it there so it looks
Ground
clean.
cover.
Ground cover.
Yep.
And the grass should be cheap also. Eventually, this is grown in, and this is all
That's the
West
live
Palm.
feed. That's the
and-
live feed.
No, I don't think it is.
That's the live feed.
Well, that's very big, I've never seen a rocky that big.
Live feed.
This big, that's how big it is.
That's the live feed.
Okay. And this is West Palm, and this is Weston.
Okay.
Okay? Now, The trees that I was gonna purchase, that I did not purchase because he stopped me from purchasing it, were $120.
Okay.
He told me, get 12. So I didn't get it because the day that I was supposed to give him the okay, the confirmation, he told me, don't buy it because we don't have money. That's another issue you don't have to tell me. He decided.
Well, I told you, Benny just answered that question.
Okay, we did, okay, well, it was 120.
He decides unless we overrule it as a board.
Okay, $120 for 12 trees. I didn't think that was gonna break the budget.
My only thing is, I'm okay with it, but we're designing, I don't want it designed out of how we're thinking. I'd rather see like this is a design plan. If we're gonna beautify Monterey, if you're gonna beautify Cabbage Farm, I'm okay with it. I'm not against it. I wanna see a design. I don't wanna say, well,
I have it in my phone, but if you ask Becky, we looked at it and I said, let's zoom in so they know.
just like, for instance,
How it
you
looks.
can't build a house from a picture. You have to have some plans,
So then you want an architect and landscaping
You can
architect?
actually do it at Home Depot, they do it for you.
Yeah,
Home
there's
Depot
an
has
app.
some plans.
There's an app online.
Yeah, there's an app online that does
Mr.
it.
Eastwood, do you see, like some picnic tables, like how they have at the, in Fulton by the lake, how they have like
Yes.
picnic tables next to.
Do I see it happening here?
Yeah, with trash all in the canal.
Did you hear what he said? And then maybe the people that live across the street from Cabbage Pond would say, you know that they put the record player on last night?
That's true.
10 o'clock at night and 11 o'clock at
That's a
night?
true statement.
Teenagers or whatever? That's what I'm afraid of.
I think we can tackle this project little by little because of funding, but I personally would love to see a plan,
With pictures or?
for instance, so you're going down Cabbage Farm, that's a great big area. I like to see.
The whole thing finished?
I like to see, again, we can see the whole thing finished, but also take it in phased approaches if we agree to it. Because the other thing we have a problem with is, we already have a lot of washout areas down Cabbage Farm, where he's got built up berms, those built up berms are washout areas.
Why don't we get a professional company or 3 or 4 to give you a price of?
Because I was trying to save money.
Yeah, you get a professional company
I
here.
was trying to.
Hang on to your hat, baby.
This is done by professionals already. You saw it, you told me your phone was.
It's done by professionals.
Yeah.
They had a design when they did this.
Yes.
We can't do this on pictures.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
If you get it, it's gonna be more money. And I don't wanna spend the money.
They have apps at Home Depot.
You can get a piece of paper and just draw. Here's the road, just give me
I
an
did that
idea.
already.
On an island,
By hand.
I never saw it. An island,
No, but I didn't give it to you.
an island,
I have it at home.
something to give us an idea how we're gonna do it. You
Yeah,
can do
what-
that.
detail.
Everything else ain't professional, I start sweating, because boy, you're not talking money.
Money.
We can pick up that project and maybe do a volunteer.
And do a section at a time, do a section.
That's what every year.
I'm with you. I'm just trying to see what, we understand what you want.
Right.
And, okay,
I can-
we got
I
the
can
money
do
cleared up,
it.
let's do another section.
Right, yeah, I can do, we can do a lot, but it's gotta be approved by
I
the
also,
board.
let me add this. The
I
12
want to say something. I believe me to the meeting, we can do it. You know it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we need to give a
We
clear
need for
instruction.
approval, because we're hammering on one end about money, and then we gotta, we gotta, he's gotta
And it
get
needs
some clear
clear,
direction.
it needs to have clear direction.
I've been seeing how they do here in the front of the club out.
Yeah.
But the 12 trees that I was getting were going to be from a nursery. These trees were $140, so they're a little bit more. I was thinking of putting them as live oaks down this avenue. Okay? 10 trees is nothing.
You just gotta keep in
You
mind.
just went from
I
Cabbage
finished-
Farm.
I finished Cabbage Farm.
Cabbage Farm too, okay.
I finished Cabbage Farm. Cabbage Farm was gonna use the trees from Montour.
Yes, ma'am.
They're free.
I get your vision, I do, honestly. Coming from a heavy equipment operator that's worked in Central County and other counties, on roadside, it's an awesome idea, but just keep in mind, when you make these plans, you need to work with Amanio, because the maintenance on this situation, and keep in think, if you use the picnic tables and the sidewalks and all this.
I'm not putting any picnic tables.
I'm just saying, in the near future though, because this is where it's gonna go
Still
to.
picnic
It's
tables.
going that way. You just gotta keep in mind how hard it is to, to maintain that.
I'm going to start with maybe 2, and it looked ridiculous at the beginning. Every year add 2 or whatever, we get money or whatever. But the 12 trees, put 2 here. We have no shade trees in this area.
Okay.
Okay? 2 live oaks. And 10, 5 on each side, to make that Main Street, which is it is our Main Street, and start putting in 5 live oaks. Avenida del Club, and 5 oaks on
Let's keep in mind, please, that we already have to mow Avenida del Club. We are
It's, yeah.
0 turn because the tractor will not go through there.
It's not there, and then also you gotta keep in fact too, with the oaks, the root system is not very deep, so if you got storms, you're gonna have road blockage when the storms, with trees falling over the middle of the road. Keep that in mind.
So
I mean, that's something to think
I
about.
think what she envisions, I think what she envisions, and I think it is a beautiful thing, is to have like an umbrella.
Oh, we don't have no doubt
Like,
about that.
there's some areas in the valley that have that umbrella all the way down the road, like an entryway with an umbrella.
And you just, yeah, and it's, like I said, that's what I'm saying, I get your vision, but you just gotta think of the near future. We have an umbrella that causes moisture on those roads, and the acetic acid, it eats the asphalt up and causes problems.
Next
Yes,
meeting,
you can.
We can do it now. We're here. You have the floor.
everybody wants to go home.
We haven't reached the. Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yes, ma'am. I still have the floor.
Because everybody has to.
I do.
Mr. Bennett has to leave too.
I'm still hungry.
Yes, all right. Yeah, she likes to take advantage of the thing.
And where's Mr. Bennett?
I get ill with it. I get ill with it.
No, he's not. Okay, this is Mr. Benny.
Thank you.
Over here, please.
Sorry,
And he left, what's his name?
Mr. Annapolis, New York, getting ready to have a flag.
Okay.
Can I get something done with
No, it's
you?
not adjourned.
I'm hungry. Everybody hit the food.
Oh, I'm sorry, I closed the market.
No, it's okay. Oh, that's one of them.
You have this.
Thank you.
Yeah. You gave me
Well,
one.
yes.
This is
Yes.
the waste management plan that I came up with. It is based on community work. Community people volunteering. It says on top, hire a part-time worker, 4 hours per day, 20 hours per week. Okay? Job description, sanitary worker will manage the correct disposal of garbage, furniture, appliances, and tires to holding sites. Holding sites are addresses of residents that have agreed that what has been collected may be placed in front of their property for regular garbage pickup.
I nominate Benny Alvarez as property.
Everybody, all of us should have.
I tell you
Not
what,
mine.
you let somebody come by there, I'm gonna shoot him.
As long, let's,
Should I tell you?
Yes.
Okay.
Let her have the floor.
yeah, that's fine.
This is the last page is an example of what that person is gonna have with him every day. The address of where he could drop off the garbage. And this is the way it works. Monday, right? This person's gonna water the plants also so that the men that are working on the roads don't have to water. And it's 4 hours a day this person's gonna work. Monday through Friday, 4 hours. Monday, this is what happens. Collection and delivery of garbage to holding sites. That means that this person is gonna get at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7, whenever he starts, on that little cart, and he's gonna have ready, and he's gonna have this sheet with him, and he's gonna go down the street. If he sees any garbage, let's say furniture, okay? He looks at his sheet to see which resident is a volunteer to put garbage in front of their house.
All right.
So he picks up the chair, puts it on that little cart, and drives it to that place and puts it in front of the garbage.
Which little car?
I don't know
Central
what
County little
Central
car?
County? No, that one that they use, what do you call it? I mean,
The gator.
The gator.
Okay, all right.
Okay?
I'm listening.
I mean, saying buy a new truck or anything.
I'm listening.
Okay. This is Monday. Holding sites are addresses of residents that have agreed to live there. Okay. So Monday he collects it, store large pieces or note locations so that it will be picked up with another employee. Let's say that he finds a sofa. He cannot carry the sofa by himself.
Okay.
So he writes on what street the sofa is, and then he leaves it there, because it's garbage on the street, he leaves it there, and continues picking up whatever garbage that should have been put in a dumpster or in front of the house, he puts it there.
Okay.
If it's a refrigerator or whatever, he goes to looks at the address,
Okay.
and he takes it to my house, puts it right in front of my house.
Yes.
And he puts on refrigerator. I will volunteer, and my friends will volunteer.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'll start tomorrow.
All right, so Tuesday comes along, he collects garbage again, and he waters plants. Tuesday the garbage comes along, the garbage picks up the tires, or picks up the furniture, the chairs, the tables, whatever they're supposed to pick up, most of people's garbage.
So you're referencing, sorry, go ahead, don't finish your idea, go ahead.
Okay? Wednesday comes along, okay? Visit holding sites where garbage are placed for regular pickup. He's gonna go back on Wednesday.
Okay.
He has to go down the street anyway, because that's his job. And he's gonna see if it was picked up by the garbage. If it wasn't picked up by the garbage company, he leaves it there.
Okay.
Because it's Tuesday already. Take list of addresses and plates and X garbage wasn't picked. So he goes back to yesterday's list. He went to my house and he saw that they left the chair there. So he puts an X on my address.
Good.
Okay, that's all he has to do. He doesn't have to pick up any more there.
All right.
Okay, so I'm on Tuesday, and he waters the plants. That's all he did was collect the garbage. Did I do? No, I'm doing Wednesday. He puts an X if the garbage wasn't picked up at this site.
For Tuesday. Okay.
For Tuesday,
Okay.
right. If there are other sites that are not holding sites, and garbage wasn't picked up, employee writes that address on the sheet. What happens if he finds garbage someplace else, and there's not a street that is a holding site?
Okay.
He writes down, so people go back to that the next day on Thursday, and put it in its right place.
Okay.
All right, Thursday comes along. Oh, wait a minute. On Wednesday, he's gonna have one person with him for 1 hour. Why? Because he has a sofa. The man cannot put a sofa by himself in those carts.
You better start working out.
He breaks it, he breaks the sofa, and then he puts it in pieces in there, and he takes it to another address.
My wife makes me move all the furniture by myself.
You're not gonna get any pity from me.
Okay.
I like that one.
Worker continues picking up garbage, delivers it to holding sites.
Okay.
So his main job is, he sees garbage on a lot or whatever, a sink that they threw out, he could carry the sink, he puts it in the back of that, what's the name of it?
Gator.
Gator. And he goes back to his list. Okay, I'm going to Juan's house. And he's leaving it right in front of you.
Juan Carlos.
Oh, Juan Carlos. Okay, and you leave it right there.
Juan Carlos out.
And it's garbage that the garbage company has to pick up.
Juan
You're not
Carlos.
putting anything there they're not supposed to pick up.
Got it.
If he gets a refrigerator, okay? Okay, there's a number. He goes into the office, he calls the company, and tells them there is a refrigerator at this address will be picked up. And that takes 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks? 1 week? Yes, that's what they told me.
Okay.
Okay? So, this is all he does for 4 hours
A day.
a day. He's a part-time worker.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday is the same. Friday, garbage employee together with another employee for 1 hour delivers big objects to holding sites.
Okay.
Sanitary workers continue delivering garbage to holding sites. And he put water plants in his room. He has a time.
I'm sorry, can I say something?
Yes, I want you to criticize him. Would you?
I'm glad you put some thought into this.
I like the idea.
Go ahead.
It's a
I'd like to see
community,
if it works.
it's a community project.
Yes.
For the first time.
Is
I like the
this,
idea too, I like the idea.
is this because of the dumpsters?
Well,
Yeah, to save
Because
money.
of the dumpsters?
To save money on the dumpsters.
put it at Juan Carlos' house. This is
No,
okay.
I am curious if it would help. I'm gonna tell you something, we've done a lot of things about furniture. You can put them there, we'll take them back.
Nothing has
But
been.
I
I'll
say,
get your address.
well, I say, give it a shot.
If you're using 6 dumpsters, now you're gonna
Fine.
use 2. I didn't say you're gonna get rid of it altogether. It might take a year for this plan to work.
We have to start somewhere.
I think it's
It's
gonna
a
help you.
community, we got new people coming in.
I
I
do have
bet
a
you
question.
anything
I do
that I
have a
could get minimum 10 people.
I have some questions, but go ahead, Herminio.
And I'm sure that one could
No,
get
I just wanted to ask if it was because of the dumpsters.
And I think,
Money.
I think we owe ourselves to try. If it doesn't work, okay, it doesn't work, we'll move on to something
And
else.
I think Denise has said something for a long time, and it's been difficult, and I know she has tried, is
and I appreciate that, but community involvement. But what I seen last Saturday was an awesome thing. I think we are turning that direction. But we have to lead by example. So if we deliver stuff in our Carlos' house first.
I think the chairman needs to step up and put his yard. Yes, sir.
Me?
I like the idea. I would like to try.
I don't want garbage in my house.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be an example.
No.
I definitely would like to try.
I'm not putting trash in my house.
I'm gonna take it to Arminio's
I'm not putting trash in my house.
All right, so we need a motion to try this.
Let me ask you something.
Question?
Yes, I do have a
We put
question.
a bottle, you think it's not good?
So, like for instance, right now, I have loose debris at my house.
What do you call loose debris?
I have broken glass, I have barbed wire, I have screened in stuff from cleaning my other lots.
In the front of your house with the right of way.
No, I'm scared to take it to the.
So one car, that's what you hear.
I have it on my property as we speak.
You want me to answer you?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we take that over to these drop sites, or will they pick that up?
No. You put that on your side inside of a garbage can. They, as long as you don't make it too heavy, they don't care.
I do it.
They don't care. So this.
Just don't put cement.
No, of course. So this part-time employee, he, like say for instance, I looked at a person, he told me today, he called me and said, hey, by the way, one on Avenida del Sur and Arboleda, some people dropped some furniture. Yes. It's like 3 or 4 big items there. So he would see that, he would put it on the gator.
On the gator?
And take it to the approved site.
To the approved site.
Yes.
Yes. I like
You put
that.
it right there.
That reminds me. Incredible. Well thought of, it just,
I thought-
now, will it work? Don't want to
I
try
thought
that.
of all the loopholes. Let's get the people that want to really volunteer.
And, listen, if you're gonna work with the volunteers.
Yes.
And I think she will, I think she's a good one too.
Yes.
There's so much to gain here, so little to lose.
So
It doesn't work.
Pride in your community.
So the goal is not only just to get the community involved, but to lessen the bill.
The lessons
Exactly.
To help out.
To utilize that money for something else.
Yes.
I think it's
Or
a
maybe
good
to
idea.
go to zero, pretty much, if possible.
Yeah.
Because it's starting to become an eyesore, to be honest with you.
Yes,
A lot of
it
people
is.
throw stuff on the trash. No fault of our
Yes, sir.
people, but our employees. But man, that day I was out there, there were people coming in all day.
Oh,
They were
Lord.
bringing toilets, they were bringing loose. That's my question, is loose debris. What I don't want to see is just loose debris hanging around, staying around forever.
All the thing
What
that's
we
gonna
can do
happen,
is
if
buy
you shut the yard down, you're gonna pick it up all over one too. We've already been there, done
We
that.
already did.
Yeah, so.
They're still doing
We
it.
already did.
And they're still doing it now, even with the dumpsters.
However, if you shut the dumpsters down, it's gonna get worse.
We just gotta come up with a different way of being cheaper about this.
We did it for 4 years, experimenting, and then you shut the dumpsters down, it gets worse. You open them up, it gets better.
You got a question?
Yeah, Denise, be more glad to use my dumpster or my garbage cans in front of my house for that project.
Thank you.
I can't help Monday through Friday, but on the weekends I can help from time to time if y'all can help on that.
See, there we go.
Second of all, the ghost of the RV has returned.
The ghost of the
Oh, they don't want it back.
showed up.
It showed back up. It's on Hunting Club and a side road now. They've moved it to that now.
An RV?
Remember the RV that was at the gate at the reservoir and it was tagged and all that?
I thought the record come got it.
They did it.
Then there's another RV that looks just like it on Hunting Club
Oh,
on the
yeah,
side of
that's
the
it,
road.
yeah. Don't tell me that, I'm gonna call Steve.
I'm being dead serious.
Take a picture of it.
All right, I will.
Send me a picture, please.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we had an issue with, somebody brought a
where's it at
whole
right now?
RV.
Where's it at right now, John?
It's on Hunting Club and a side road. It's a dead end road. I have to remember which one it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I spotted it on my way home yesterday.
So do we need a vote
Need a
on
motion?
this?
And I say, so moved.
All right, we have a motion on the floor, we have a second.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion carried.
So now, we gotta get with Emilio, because we have to find a part-time employee, correct?
Yes. Because I'm sure he doesn't want to give up one of the ones he has because he has one.
He has plenty of work to do. Herminio, let's all try to make this work, and we're gonna go through some bumps. We're gonna.
Oh, yeah.
It might take a year.
So again, but let's just, all of us be positive, right? We're gonna try it, and it's like,
All you guys need to do is vote on it.
We did.
Oh, it's all done? Okay.
What we need is a part-time person to start putting this to work. I like
No,
that.
it's like this sometimes, because we have to put the ad and the newspaper.
And I gotta get also, I have to go from house to house, I'm gonna go first with my friends. And then I'll do total strangers that are moving in, to get them involved in.
So let's do something. When you got everything figured out, you let me know. And we put the ad on the newspaper, and then we move from there.
We'll put the like sign at Juan Carlos' house, dump here. It'll say dump
It will
here.
make a big sense, and the manager did not want to partake in this fight.
No, this is actually.
That is true.
For you, okay, but listen, for you to think of something like that and put some time, like this, it's worth a try because what we're doing is not working.
But you know what? I like it.
It looks a little challenging. But you have what you thought of it well.
You have a format, you have a process.
Yeah.
Processes are hard, I mean, I
That
like
man
it.
comes in and he comes back.
I like it.
Listen, we can try it, let's try it. Listen, and again, I will do everything in my power to make it.
Other than anybody coming to the house and get shot, I'll do anything else.
Okay, I'm open to suggestions,
Well, we don't try to get two part-time employees.
because of the money, we're trying to
Let's
save
start with
money.
one and see how it works. If it works good, it saves us a lot of money, then we can justify getting another one. Yeah,
Now what we do is for the service.
yeah, but let's get the bugs out of it.
Any comments as well, supervisors?
Comment would be, let's adjourn, I'm hungry.
All right, any
There's no
comments?
problem with insurance money.
No, sir, I just wanted to say thank you for welcoming me to
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
I'm not gonna learn from.
Is that it?
It was a long meeting.
Is that it?
Hey, you do it.
All right,
Let's take it.
can we get a meeting, can we get a motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.